Domo, welcome everybody. Today we are playing Inhuman Resources, a literary machination. Yippee! Corporations! Capitalism or something. I don't know. You'd have to assume I have a job or something. What VTuber has a job? So yeah, I did get a free Steam key to play this game, so thanks again to them for giving me a key. I have the link pinned on Steam, and I also have it linked in the YouTube VOD, so if this seems like your jam as I'm playing it, you can get it yourself to play it because it's a choose-your-own-adventure game. Yay! I love those. Don't get to play too many of those. So we shall go on in. Yeah, we could go with Finnegan Joyce. Sure, why not? And there is ways to mess with, like, the text size and the volume and everything, so if I need to adjust anything, just let me know. So yeah, Domo Deli Kiwi, Domo Dizzy, Domo Cosmic, yeah, get those emails ready, Pork. Well, we shall now get started. Yay. There are 3 deaths. The first is when the body ceases to function. The second is when the body is consigned to the grave. The third is that moment, sometime in the future, where your name is spoken for the last time. David M. Eagleman. Ogie. But does the game let you scream? Probably. It might be a dialogue option. We'll find out. Oh boy, we have to make a phone call like a normal person. Ah. An all too familiar screeching reverberates inside your brain. The noise comes in waves. The pain follows suit. You try your best to ignore both, but the mere fact that you've acknowledged the awful sound means it's already won. Double Bucky, welcome just in time. We literally just got started. Your phone's alarm is simply much too loud to ignore. Defeated, your eyes peel apart like sheets of rotting Velcro, blinking back a bad night's bleary haze. You lie in bed, awake against your consent. The room is almost pitch black, save for the intermittent flashing of your phone's screaming screen. A rancid, if routine stench of unwashed bedsheets bids you a bittersweet good morning. Wash your bedsheets! Stinky. You're home, for better or worse. Mostly the latter these days. Just once you wish you'd wake up somewhere else instead. Just once you wish time would ask permission before racing ahead. But your phone doesn't care about what you want. The insufferable screeching drills deeper into your skull. You throw back your dirty blankets, blindly reaching for the misbegotten beast. I shall pick up the phone. Oh. The slab of thumb-smudged plastic feels comfortable in your palm. Most call the device ancient, but to you, it's cozy and familiar, like an old, if outdated friend. What, do we own like a fucking BlackBerry? A brick phone? What do we own? No oversized touchscreen, no fancy graphic cards or mobile games, no constant access to so or so G network, just a simple tool with a cute antenna that allows you time to disconnect. Oh, so a brick phone. Got it. So when do we get to the part where we sell meth? Anyway, you've always appreciated the old and the analog, despite the wider world's obsession with digitized progress. There's sincerity and physicality, a warmth to an object's weight. You'll cling to this relic as long as you can. Sensible upgrades be damned. You have an old cell phone. You fiddle with the phone, desperate to stop the alarm, but no matter which button you press, the shrieking will not end. Can I click on it? You can click on it, and then you can look at the picture. That's cool. Double Venom, welcome. How you doing? It's a chunky gray flip phone made from scratched plastic. Also your most treasured possession, which is very sad. That's because this isn't your alarm at all. It's your ringtone. Squinting in the darkness, you barely make out the caller's ID. It's your aunt. Aunt/landlady, technically speaking. Hopefully just your aunt today. The woman is exhausting enough when she isn't asking for rent payments, no matter how overdue they are. You still a little sick? Just woke up? Well, hopefully you get better soon, Venoms. How's it going? I'm doing good. I had to answer my cell phone. Still, should you really ignore a call from the one person still willing to support you between jobs? Yeah, I'll answer. She's just gonna keep calling. Static crackles as your obsolete cell phone struggles to connect. After a sharp click, you mumble a hesitant hello. Hey there, sweetie. Sorry for calling you out of the blue. Hope I'm not interrupting lunch. The scratchy facsimile of her bombastically condescending voice greets you on the other end. No mistaking your dear auntie, so it's like, sorry for calling you out of the blue. Hope I'm not interrupting lunch. Yeah, but what's this about lunch? You flick on a light and glance towards your microwave's LED clock display. A shameful number stares back from the room's abyss. 1:29 p.m. Facsimile? Facsimile? You sure it's not simile? Or am I thinking of an entirely different word? Am I thinking of an entirely different word? You wince and make up a half-baked lie, pretending to talk with your mouth full. Your aunt doesn't seem to buy it. Well, I'm sure you're very busy with job application today, so I'll get straight to the point. Do you have any idea when you'll be able to send me last month's rent? I know money's been tight lately, but it's already the 31st. 1 missed payment is bad enough, but 2? Definitely not facsimile? I don't know. Shit, landlady it is. You feel yourself deflate, glancing to the tower of rejected job applications standing proud and precarious upon your messy desk. The top sheet almost grazes your modest apartment's ceilings. Your aunt suggested a pretty refusal, claiming they'd make your eventual hiring all the more rewarding. You found that harder and harder to believe ever since the letter started outnumbered the dollars in your bank account. It would be both a C and an S if the C was an S. I don't know. I can't read. Sweetie, do you have some kind of estimate for me? I would really need an answer. Today. Can I click on the ant? Yeah, I got Yankee. The only person on Earth who still believes in you. Her patience, however, is wearing rather thin. Alright, I don't have a job yet. Give me more time. You swallow your pride. It goes down easy. There isn't much left. For the 100th, 1000th, millionth time, you swear to send your aunt the money the second you get a steady paycheck. Until then, there's no way you can conjure cash out of thin air. An uncomfortable silence lingers over your phone's speaker. After several torturous sounds, a disappointed sigh comes through. Sweetie, I let you rent the place to give you a second chance. Not to keep enabling this shameful, do-nothing behavior of yours. Honestly, I'd be more than willing to forgive delays if I knew you were actually trying. But you can't expect me to believe you've been pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and giving this job on all you've got when you've been living in a pigsty for the last year. I mean, yeah. Pigsty? You deflect the woman's accusations, blabbering in desperate denial. It's like, how about you prove that by washing your fucking bed sheets? But as your eyes drift over to the sorry state of your apartment, your ramblings soon turn to tragic silence. You've been immune to the stench for a few months now, but no amount of time will ever make you blind to the altars of wretchedness your neglect has erected. Double Gator, welcome, how you doing? See, on the floor? Crumpled sacks of crusty laundry litter the unmopped ground like landmines in an active war zone. Desk? Fly swarms styrofoam containers amalgamate themselves into awkwardly unstable modern art installations. Your largest can could only be referred to as the Leaning Tower of Takeout. The Leaning Tower of Pizza. You have a delicious mug of mint melody tea. Ooh, that sounds nice. In the kitchen, filthy cookware overflows from your sink, bathed in rancid dishwater. A layer of film has formed on the surface, thick as the crust of a creme brulee. I ate a creme brulee last week. Don't make it yucky. I like me a nice creme brulee. Bit of orange blossom honey? Ooh, nice. Because you deserve nice things. Absolutely. It's like, it's Thursday, you worked hard all week. Have yourself some nice tea, little gator. What's going on in the fridge? An outdated contraption hums like a thermonuclear lawnmower, even though you know damn well it's not keeping anything cold. Maybe ketchup packets, if you're lucky. Pigsty or not, there's no denying that this whole unemployment business has been taking a serious toll. One that's gone on long enough for your aunt's pity to become well-deserved contempt. Well, what do you have to say for yourself? It's like, it's not your fault, she's right, you're scum. You're sick of pulling up. Yeah, no, you suck. You throw yourself into a dramatic tirade detailing your utter lack of worth, the hopelessness of human existence, and the filthy trash ditch you deserve to die in perfectly alone. Oh, wait, I didn't know that was gonna be, like, our response. Like, I didn't know he was gonna do that. Aw, shit. Like, I was hoping you'd have an epiphany, not guilt trip your aunt. Damn it. By the time your aunt gets a word in edgewise, your face is slick with mucus and tears of mucus, your heart tied into painful knots. Enough! I'm sorry, alright? I didn't mean to be so harsh. Now calm down, please. Sounds like she's begging out of irritation than out of worry for your well-being. But you listen nonetheless, taking time to control your breathing and wipe away strings of snot. The phone crackles with warbled noise as your aunt lets out a groan. Good grief. I know this mental health nonsense you keep talking about is a big deal, but you have got to get it together and take action somehow. You can't just keep using mood swings as an excuse to escape responsibility. That choice will get you nowhere. It's like, you've acquired clinical depression! Alright, this is pretty great. A crippling chemical imbalance lodged deep inside your brain makes good days bad and bad days harder. Yeah, it's like hashtag. Don't know. You brace yourself as the woman prepares to deliver her most frequent, most frustrating spiel. You could probably repeat it word for word if ever you were held at gunpoint. Yeah, double lemon juice, welcome. Unfortunately, we have been bumming in an apartment rented out by our landlord aunt. And she's like, bitch, get a job and pay your rent. And so, yeah. And we just got clinical depression, yippee! Remember, sweetie, in our world, choices matter. The big ones and the small ones. We can't always take those decisions back, and we can't control their consequences either, which means we have to choose carefully. You most certainly have not been doing that. If you have any intention of getting yourself out of this mess, you need to start making the right decisions, and soon. I'm on the aunt side here. Like, yeah, you gotta get your shit together. Wash your fucking bed sheets! You stinky man! You hang your head and nod, gulping down your last trickle of self-respect. Hearing this speech frequently doesn't make any easier to hear. Anywho, enough of that. The real reason I'm calling is because I might have an opportunity for you. Damn, should have said that sooner. You could tell by her inflection, she means a job opportunity. Your reaction is practically Pavlovian. You salivate the thought of your unrelenting financial woes finally coming to an end. You grip the cell phone tighter, aching with anticipation. See, there's this problem employee at our company. He works at one of the local branches right next to where you live. But the man has a terrible attitude and is even more terrible when it comes to, well, whatever it is you think we do over there. It's like, congratulations, I sold you as a slave. What is this, a Wattpad fanfic? Are we gonna be sold to some boy band? You picture herself limply waving her wrists in some vague, dismissive pattern. More of the highly confidential stuff she can't share, but brags about it anyway. Not that you're entirely sure what your aunt actually does for a living to begin with. Something to do with human resources, maybe? Inhuman Resources? Needless to say, we'll be laying off the little sourpuss as soon as a fitting replacement is found. But we need that replacement fast. Company has a big business deal coming up. We can't afford to be short on staff right now. Luckily, I happen to know a certain someone in dire need of a job, and this position happens to be entry level. No major qualifications needed. It even comes with a sterling letter of recommendation from yours truly. Now, this won't be an easy job. Supervisors are very strict, and the anxiety has a way of following you home. But so long as you nail the interview, you're basically guaranteed stable income for as long as you need it. Smirnokorf isn't prone to random layoffs. So how about it, sweetie? Shall I schedule something for you? It's like, yes, please. Look, worst case scenario, you have something on your resume, dude. High stress environment or not, it beats homelessness by a country mile. You agreed to the offer with ravenous insistence. Set us up pronto. The woman breathes a sigh of relief and lets out a nervous laugh. It almost sounds as like she's in ecstatic disbelief. Oh, thank goodness. You have no idea what it means to hear you say that, dear. You're literally saving my life. You should probably be the one telling her that. But you won't complain about receiving gratitude instead of judgment, for once. Without missing a beat, your aunt hammers at her computer's keyboard, drafting you an email. You clamber your way out of bed, tripping over day-old takeout and mounds of dirty underwear as you rush toward your laptop. I've booked the earliest appointment I could possibly find. You should get an email with the time, address, and job description soon. Be sure to read everything carefully and do not be late. Mr. Bougard will skin me alive if I send another unpunctual idiot. Oh, and make sure not to mention that whole depression nonsense during the interview. It might make Mr. Bougard think he needs to fix you. But what if I want a toxic yaoi romance? Wait, what? Fix you? Rather than offer answers, your aunt whispers farewell. Good luck, sweetie. I hope you forgive me for this someday. What? The line goes deadly silent, save for a droning dial tone. Fix you like the vet fixes the dog? Probably. Oh, my boogies. Drink some water. Okay. You can urge the caller back, but the ding of an invitation appearing in your inbox catches your attention first. Uh-oh. Your interview is today at 4 p.m. sharp, no less. You curse under your breath, rushing to shower and get dressed. Your stack of rejection letters gets knocked over by your charge and scatters across the room in a whirlwind of standard issue responses. You beg with every fiber of your being not to come home with a new failure to add onto the pile. Alright, to the waiting room! Let's go! Yay. The packed, full city transit bus comes to a creaking stop, right in front of an old building you've never seen before. Shoving your way past crowded commuters, you walk onto an empty sidewalk. The vehicle roars away, fading into the misty afternoon and leaving you utterly alone. You briefly wonder if getting off here was a mistake. You review your aunt's documents, poring over the civic number, street name, and postal code, as though every character were the cipher to some secret code. By the time you finish your third revision, you're forced to concede. This must be the right address, but it's not remotely what you expected. Nestled between the two gleaming skyscrapers sits a much smaller, much stranger building. There's the unnerving facade. Glazed gray brickwork and pale veined marble unite to form a vast web of extravagant monochrome patterns. But despite all the details, the sum total still gives off a sense of cold, calculated purpose. Almost like an anarchic graffiti artists were hired to redesign palliative? I can't read. Care center. I don't even know what that word means. Decorative windows. As you climb the front steps, a set of circular gold-tinted portholes stare down at you. They are unblinking like the eyes of giant, deep-sea squids. The glass is too opaque to see through, yet you suspect someone is on the other side watching you approach. Anarchic. Am I saying it right? Massive front gates. Made from half-ton chunks of glistening cast iron, the double doors have been decorated with an intricate bas-relief of skyscrapers swimming in fog. It's ironic for such a stout little edifice. Ron's door knocker. Typo. The alloy's been smelted into the shape of a crowned king's severed head. Weird. The object looks so realistic, you're scared it'll be warm and wet to the touch. Ew. Unfortunately, you see no keypads, handles, or ID scanners that would allow for easier entry. The local branch of Smyrna Corp is only 4 stories tall, yet feels impossibly imposing. It's caught between outdated aesthetics and timeless sensibilities, somehow both outrageous, yet invisibly subtle. As if meant to be forgotten at a passing glance and haunt those whose gazes linger. You suspect you may be underdressed. Your clothes aren't filthy, of course. If anything, they're rather chic. Or at least they used to be. Neither time nor depression has been kind to your apparel. For all the class your best outfit once had, overuse has worn it down to a discolored, threadbare husk. Meanwhile, lack of money, motivation, and belief you're worthy of nice things has prevented you from buying new clothes for the better part of 2 years. Regardless, you've got... What you've got will have to do. The hour of your interview approaches, and you won't have cash to afford a better outfit until this job is yours. Reach for the knocker and bang the door! The bronze object booms against the iron gates, even harder than your thumping heart. Moments later, something clicks and a latch comes undone. The doors groan themselves open, inviting you inside. You step into the building and are greeted with what seems to be a 5-star hotel's reception area. The room is utterly massive, with high ceilings that would rival a Renaissance church's cavernous belly. Its windows let no sunshine through, and no fluorescent light bulbs fill it with their pale glare. There are just low-hanging chandeliers and an array of green glass banker lamps bathing the room in burnt orange. Upholstered sofas and coffee tables dot the space-like islands, forming a winding path that leads to the room's distant depths. There, a woman stands behind a desk, flanked on each side by grillage elevators. The sharp machine gun clatter of her mechanical keyboard echoes across the room. You appreciate the old and analog, but Smyrna Corp's apparent fondness is downright ridiculous. I'll hydrate. Hopefully the receptionist won't feel the same way about your subpar outfit. Be confident. With a little luck, it'll read as self-assurance instead of a total fucking delusion. Not seeing enough extremism. It's like, oh, don't worry, we had that earlier. We had the clinical depression. The dim lighting becomes dimmer the further you go, and thick shadows close in on you like claustrophobic walls. Wall-to-wall carpeting squishes under your feet. An unfamiliar ammonia aroma assails your flared nostrils. Whatever they use to clean the place smells strong enough to double as a bioweapon. Wasn't strong enough to erase the lingering stench of cigarette smoke. Can't read. The off-putting odor does suit the outdated decor, however. Except for those unsettling sculptures. Carved into the room's concrete support pillars. Disturbing shapes that assail you from all sides, emerging from the shadows like pretentious interpretations of 21st century demons. On your left, headless nude bodies are contorted in pain, as veins sprout through their skin like a tree's sprawling roots. On your right, a bleak rendition of what you assume to be Babel's Tower has been built out of steel girders, electrical wiring, and bones. Up ahead, you see human skulls whose scalps have been exploded, revealing interwoven helixes of DNA strands and binary code. Hello? Okay. Yeah, it's like, what happened to good old-fashioned gargoyles? What is this? Like, did Vlad the Impaler design this place? Unsettled by your surroundings, your eyes drift back to the woman working the reception desk. There are letters engraved in the wall above her, spelling out a slogan in twinkling silver fonts. More perpetuus mutatio. Mutatio. You don't know much about corporate branding, let alone Smyrna Corp's specific suite of services, but you're not sure how effective that cryptic slogan must be. You hope your aunt's documents would have been provided insight. Instead, they're mostly full of vapid statements about connecting modern businesses with industry-leaning talent or some such variation of the standard corporate tripe. You wave hello to the receptionist, but she doesn't even flinch. Her gaze remains glazed over, wholly focused on her work. She's younger than you first thought. Maybe 30, likely not quite. Sickly pale, with sleep-deprived bangs under her eyes, each one darker than the acrylic of her tidy black turtleneck. Her hair is knotted into a dainty bun, her fingers devoid of polish or rings. They move across her keyboard like demented tap dancers. Do-do-do-do-do. Wait, no, not her keyboard, her typewriter. It's a really, really old one made from brass, black plastic, and way too many moving parts. A relic from the 1800s that looks like it barely scraped through both world wars. And you thought your laptop was getting old. There's also a small desk bell, glimmering on the counter. Maybe you should... yeah, just ring it. Ding ding! A pleasant ding resounds like clanking champagne glasses. The woman's head snaps forward as though struck by an electric shock. Bzz. She flashes you a beaming, not quite pearl white smile. Oh, good lord. How am I supposed to pronounce this? This sounds French. Yeah, Tom, old Cody, welcome. How you doing? Melusine Saints? I feel like I should know how to say Melusine. I'm probably still saying it wrong, though. Yeah, fellow Spirited Corp employee, quite possibly the only friendly face you'll ever meet. Melusine Sansavanes. Sure, that'll work. Welcome to Spirited Corp. Do you have an appointment? The words barely seep through the woman's gritted teeth. Her grin is so tight it hurts to watch, but there's no trace of frustration. She's a dictionary definition of too friendly, made uncomfortably manifest. Unsettled, you stumble your way through an explanation of your aunt's referral. The receptionist replies with a nod, squinting as she reads the writing on her typewriter's latest sheet. Mason, if you prefer. Ah, of course, we've been expecting you. I'm afraid Mr. Bogard is running a little late this afternoon. He'll need a few more minutes until he's ready to speak with you, but you're more than welcome to peruse our visitor handbooks while waiting. She gestures to a set of nearby couches and a clock. I can't read. A table chock full of company pamphlets. But you're more surprised to notice someone else already sitting there. A young man with a bitter look etched into his furrowed face. Could this be... an irritated customer? Oh, decor aside, this is a place of business, but for a human resources company, they sure don't seem to keep people happy. Your bleak musings are interrupted by the receptionist's unpainted nails tapping at her name tag. I'm Melusine, by the way. I'll call you as soon as Mr. Bogard becomes available. In the meantime, please let me know if you have any questions. With a grateful, albeit embarrassed nod, you walk away and slump into an old-fashioned sofa. Melusine's rickety typewriter clacking away once more. Yeah, she's been on her joy, I see, yeah. Yeah, enjoy those streaks. Yeah, she's got unpainted nails. The couch's cushion feels quite stiff. Or maybe your stress clenched back does. Considering the ferocious stare down you're receiving from the stranger seated across you, it could well be the latter. The steady tick of a vintage clock draws your gaze. Its hands pointed in opposite directions. 3:42 p.m. 18 minutes left. Good thing you came early. You still have time to prepare before your interview, but probably not enough to do everything you want. You'll have to decide where to spend it. Carefully. Let's see. Let's find out more about the corporation. Read some pamphlets. You sent a brochure that seems to cover the most interesting topics. Hoping it'll contain some hints about your future 9 to 5. Welcome to Spiricorp, your guide towards success in a post-truth future. Founded in the year redacted by psychotherapist Gertrude Borodine, what began as a non-profit humane society quickly evolved into a multinational conglomerate with over redacted employees. Today, Spiricorp is everywhere. We work for your local governments, your most prestigious universities, the telecommunication services you use to keep in touch with loved ones. Everything we do to protect our most precious resource, people like you. Smyrna Corp is dedicated to providing custom human resource and recruitment solutions for businesses of all sizes. Oh god. Using our revolutionary evaluation processes, we assign the person who's right for you at the right time in the right place. Guaranteed every time. What are you waiting for? Embrace the change today. You're mildly disgusted by the amount of insipid buzzwords featured on each page. The whole thing reeks of hyperbole, with a lesser whiff of self-congratulation. But at least it was somewhat informative. Plus, this company seems way more prestigious than you expected. The salaries must be pretty decent. Yeah, it's like average game journal article. You tip the pamphlet back into display and give the clock another glance. 3:51. Still a few minutes left, maybe enough to extract information from one of the other people in the room. Who is the man? Time to break the ice. Hopefully it won't be the very thin ice you seem to be standing on with this guy. You take a seat next to the stranger, introducing yourself with a smile. Rather than his attention, the man scowls as if you were a clump of dog shit clinging to his shoe. His snarling voice sounds coarser than a poorly maintained gravel driveway. Who are you? Emiliano Aguilar, a disgruntled Smyrna Corp employee with major attitude issues. Is going bald from stress and substance abuse. Oh god. Right, let me blow my nose and I'll try and think of a voice for this guy. They say he's like, bleh. You had that with spaghetti once, yeah, right? Okay. What the hell do you want? Can't you tell I'm not in the mood? Well, you couldn't tell before. You certainly can now. You gulp audibly. Gulp. Or this person might assault you at a moment's notice. But as you stammer out some vague apologies, you notice something surprising. He doesn't look at all that angry. Let alone angry at you. In fact, he looks almost fretful. You know, Aviator, you're stronger than most of us if you could survive a 9 to 5. Yeah, right? The man's callous hands aren't balled in the fist, but kneading each other with relentless worry. Oh, thank you for the gift subs, Aviator. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you. Oh, looks like some regulars won some gift subs. Congratulations. Enjoy your subs. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you. Enjoy the emotes. Yeah, it's like you got one, Bucky. Congratulations. So you can post emotes now. And don't have to worry about ads as much. Yeah, so it's a beat on at the temples of his receding hairline, wearing down the gel matting down his tar black locks. One of his legs shudders visibly, its foot tapping the floor with the net break tempo of a meth-addled punk musician stomping a drum pedal. Yeah, see, now you can be Hans. Oh yeah, Domo Ardito. I didn't know if I said hi to you before. Welcome. And I'll hydrate. Oh, hi, Taffy. What do you want? You want to sit on my lap? One second. Okay. Come on. Come on, Taffy. I know you want to sit on my lap. This game looks like a literal visual novel. Yeah, it is a text-based adventure, but it does have pictures. Like, when the characters talk, they do show their pictures and stuff. So, yeah, it is a literal visual novel. Very old school. Choose your own adventure. Links in the pin. He reminds you of Melocene. He has the same not quite 30s face. Some dark and batty tired eyes, same snug black turtleneck kept tidy as a military uniform, and taps on my lap if you want to pet him. But his name tag reads Emiliano. Wait, name tag? Hey, Lieutenant Emiliano isn't a company client or a prospective candidate after the same job you are. He's a Smyrna Corp employee. Look, pal, all your staring is gonna give me a fit. Either speak up or back off, alright? Yeah, Yeah, it's like I could either back off, I could try and be compassionate, or I could try and learn about the job. He does seem nervous about something, but that could just be the drugs. I guess tell me about the job. Why not? Knowledge is power, and right now you're very weak. Best collect as much as you can straight from the workplace's source. Gathering your courage, you kindly request for Emiliano to tell you a few stories about his time at Spirit Corp. Confused by your question, the man arches an eyebrow. You're reminded of a bushy caterpillar wriggling up his forehead. Once you clarify what you're here for, the caterpillar slumps back and Aguilar lets out a distasteful snicker. So you're the one they're hiring to take my spot, huh? Should have known Bulgard wouldn't waste time finding himself a new lackey. The roof of your mouth goes dry as the dots connect. Your aunt did say Smirnocorp was firing a problematic employee that needs replacing fast. Ruh-roh. You just didn't think she meant faster than they could kick their worker out the door. Yeah, Aguilera, Agumon. The problematic employee in question now glances the receptionist's way before leaning in to whisper a secret. His finger trembles uncontrollably as it points towards the building's entrance. I've only got one piece of advice when it comes to working here. Don't. If I were you, I'd pack my shit and get the hell out of Dodge before any of those freaks could hand me a paycheck. No amount of money is worth the crap they put you through. And no amount of therapy will be enough to help you sleep at night unless you want to ruin your life, go back the way you came and never look back. Thank you for 1,000 biddies, Deli Kiwi. Oh my god, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you. That's Dracula for sure. Yeah, thank you, Deli Kiwi. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you. Thank you for biddies. That's a good amount of biddies. Yeah, because it's like these gift subs of biddies will actually come into use because I am working on season 2 of the roleplay, and I did have to resubscribe to the Patreon I was using for all those assets I downloaded, so it's like your money is going straight back to you guys, so thank you again. Yeah, you should have done 10 big emotes. I'll take the biddies. Remember when there was one My Little Pony episode where you could 100% tell they wrote entirely from one font, did Dachi entire episode felt entirely pointless by one. Yeah, there was it's like that show had so many episodes. I don't even remember what you're even talking about. Was it a baseball episode? Was that the pun?
Bone Mateku.
Oh, but sure. Be sure to piss on their precious fucking doorstep on your way out, eh? Maybe that'll make a few nut jobs think twice before stepping outside. Taffy, you're digging your nails into me in a way I don't like. You're being stinky. We dropped after season 3. Yeah, no, season 3 is... That's the one where she... Yeah, Taffy has nails. I clipped them, but they could be stinky. But mainly his back nails can be sharp. The episode was like Applejack runs away to some small town or something. Oh. It does get better. I think season 3 is probably one of the worst seasons. It's short and it ends with her becoming an alicorn. But anyway, back to the game. My point is I've watched the entire series and it does get better. So, you don't have to give it another shot. I'm just saying if you were wondering if it gets better, yes. Most cats have claws. You're just intrigued and disturbed by the idea cat having human fingernails. Yeah, I meant his cat claw nails. But yeah, you smell liquor on his breath. Hear a hint of derangement in his otherwise honest-sounding words. Hard to tell if he's trustworthy, two-faced, or insane. Is this guy just bitter at being rightfully fired, or is something else going on? He gets better and then worse again? Nah, I'd say it was fine. I enjoyed it. Has its up and downs. But it ran for like, what, 8 seasons? It was long. Yeah, what if a cat had opposable thumbs? Then we'd all be screwed. Taffy, what do you want? You want your fish? You want fishy? The way I tolerate Taffy's butthead moments, gotta keep the human form contained. Yeah. Go get your fish. Yeah, what kind of things do they make you do exactly? Work-related stress is one thing, but this looks like work-related trauma. Something must be going on here. Something much more complicated than the human resource desk job your aunt alluded to. Emiliano's mouth opens wordlessly, then snaps shut and scrunches up, as if he just downed a shot glass of battery acid. His gaze darts about the room, searching for watchful eyes hidden within the waiting room. Only a few unblinking statues stare back, but the man trembles as though they could read his every thought. He seems afraid of what they might see. Yes, he has one of the fish with the catnip in it. Yeah. Now, funny enough, Taffy is now sitting on my bed, biting the toenails that I was just narking on him about. He fucking knows. He bites his little toenails because he knows. Sorry, I'm not allowed to share any specifics. Well, that's anticlimactic. With perplexed disappointment, you egg him on to share something, asking if it's because of the company's strict privacy policies and why he should care about them so much if he's being laid off. Emiliano grumbles, clearly not appreciating your persistence. But nevertheless, his face becomes knotted with intense concentration, looking for a way to phrase things that won't get him in trouble. Yeah, self-conscious kitty. If you manage to make it through Brigard's interview, he'll put you through a mock evaluation. It may not make much sense at first, but it'll give you a taste of the work that really gets done around here. Still, you've got to treat every single question that asshole asks like it's a matter of life or death, because your answers will have consequences. Big ones. For me. The man leans in close as he makes the request. Much too close for your liking. You can count the blackheads on his nose. Ew. Feel the heat coming off his forehead. Ew. You're not entirely sure if you're safe anymore. Oh no. Ask? It's like, why would you get in trouble? Repercussions. As the question crosses your lips, Emiliano grabs you by the collar, jerking you closer. Ropes of slobber paint your face as he begins to scream. Oh god. Yeah, it's like you were never safe. Double fifth Alice, just in time for us to get yelled at by somebody.
Didn't you fucking listen? I'm not allowed to tell you. I'm not allowed, so get the hell out of here.
You wish you could, but his grip is strong as stone and only growing stronger. No matter how much you struggle, Emiliano isn't letting go. Whimpering, you cry out for someone to save you. Against all expectation, a booming voice actually answers.
Mr. Aguilar, that's enough.
Obama?
Abuya Brigard. The gargantuan supervisor of Smyrna Corp's substitution department has a handshake firm enough to turn coal into diamonds.
Wow, that's impressive. Yeah, so to recap for those of you that came in the last, 10-15 minutes and have no idea what the fuck's going on, we are a bum leeching off our aunt,
because we've been trying to find a job, and our aunt was like, you need to pay rent, so go get a job. And she referred us to this place, and we're going for an interview. Emiliano drops you instantly. Now I'm a fox. Yippee! Stumpy! His heels click as he turns to face whoever shouted, like a soldier awaiting an inspection. In your peripheral vision, you see Mussolini do the same, though her gesture is much faster and much more practiced. You, meanwhile, are on all fours, gasping for air and gag on the smell of ammonia cleanser. Yeah, you finally have enough points to turn me into a fox. Congratulations. Never has the taste of chemicals ever been so sweet. You turn to thank your savior, only to choke on your breath once more. Standing in front of the elevator is, without exaggeration, the most massive man you've ever seen. He's taller than a fridge, twice as wide, and perhaps thrice as heavy. The pure white of his immaculate dentistry contrasts with his dark skin, which reflects the room's dim light like finely chiseled onyx. Beneath the perfectly tailored patterns of his elegant tweed suit, muscles shift with each breath, threatening to burst through the seams. You touch the tail. It's like, good luck, there's two of them. His pale blue eyes focus on you as he speaks with a voice like velvet thunder. Friends, you have my humblest apologies for my subordinate's inexcusable behavior. I'll be more than willing to discuss potential compensation if you deem it necessary, regardless of our interview's outcome. Interview, huh? This must be Mr. Bogard, your soon-to-be boss, luck willing. The ding of an elevator is suddenly heard, and one of the gillage doors by the reception desk creaks open. The tweed behemoth sidles his way into the shaft, packed tighter than a tuna in a small can. Surely this is a man you can trust implacably, of course. He beckons you to join him with the Bradwurst thick finger. Good lord. Come along now. We're already behind schedule and can't afford any more delays. What's more, I frankly cannot wait to discuss your future with us here at Smyrna Corp. Holy shit, he thinks you have a future. In that moment, Mr. Bogard's big, beaming smile is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Imagine this man trying to fix you. Yeah, thank you, sir. I will get into this elevator. It's a tight fit, but you managed to wiggle yourself into the lift by nuzzling up to your hopefully future boss. You apologize profusely for the cramped conditions, but he just laughs it off. No need to be embarrassed. Happens all the time. Oh, and no need for all this Mr. Bogard business either. First name basis is fine by me. Okay, Obama. I mean, Obuya. Alright, I'll stop making that joke. Before the elevator door can snap shut, everyone opens their mouth and screams. Or someone opens their mouth and screams. Not everyone, just specifically one person. Oops. Like, oh, he'll fix you alright. Fix you into a place in a neat little box. Oh boy, wait! The angry-looking man you're worrying about suddenly drops to his knees, hand held together in prayer. Any aura of danger that once clung to him has been dispelled by his blubbering supplication. Sir, I'm begging you, just give me another chance. I swear I'll do anything. Unpaid overtime. I'll work on weekends. I'll kiss your goddamn shoes if I have to. Just please, don't replace me. Mr. Bogard's only reply is a disappointed sigh. His bright white smile wavers, and tangible contempt taints his otherwise welcoming tone. Mr. Aguilar, you've had more second chances than I can count, and displaying such undignified desperation in front of a candidate set to take over your position is not an endearing choice. Frankly, there's nothing more I can or want to do for you, beyond offering the standard company-issued severance package. The once intimidating stranger collapses as though shot in the chest. His body ripples with hiccuping wails, his fists powerlessly pounding at the carpeted floor. Your maybe future boss clicks his tongue, more disappointed than disturbed. He turns to give
Mesoline. A firm look and firmer orders. Miss Saints... I can't figure out these names. Saint Sains? Miss Saint Sains, please ensure our former staffer behaves until his offboarding is complete, will you? I'll attend to him once I'm done with our guest.
Yes, he looks like he's charging up a laser. He's got them pearly whites.
The tired woman gives a nervous nod, rushing back to her typewriter as if nothing happened. The clacking keys are now punctuated by the tears of a grown man. Abuya thumbs a few buttons, and the elevator doors finally slide shut. Through cracks in the grillage gates, you see the receptionist giving you a small wave, mouthing a worrisome farewell. Good luck. Before you decide whether she was cheering you on or trying to warn you, the door lurches back downwards. To the interview! Let's go! Oh lord, an hour in and only now I'm in the interview. After descending a short way, the elevator slows to a crawl, then comes to a complete stop, groaning under the combined mass of its unevenly weighted passengers. For a moment, you worry the cables have jammed. Clearing his throat, Mr. Bogard reaches over your shoulder and points to the lift's control panel. It's like, I think he's crying for good reasons. He lost his job. Would you do me the honor of entering our company... Would you do me the honor of entering our meeting room's access password? If you're going to be working here, you may as well learn how to travel across the office. Just type in... if you please. Oh, and no need to be too... risque about it. Precision matters more than speed with these old doodads. Yeah, shoop the whoop. Alright, so... that, cool-looking S, pi symbol, cane, and, circle line. The interviewer chuckles as he watches you fiddle with the eclectic symbols, amused by your apparent unfamiliarity. Call him Dr. Octagonopus. No doubt he's used to employees entering these combinations with the routine deftness of jaded shoppers typing their PIN numbers during credit card transactions. You're still not sure why he's making you type in the password in, nor why the elevator uses passwords in the first place. But wouldn't keycards be easier? Or normal numbers, at least? Regardless, as the last button clicks into place, the elevator resumes its descent at an increased momentum, plunging deep into the earth with no signs of stopping. After almost 20 seconds, you wonder if it's headed to the planet's core. Like, probably. It's like, I think we're going down the hell. Hey. You'll have to beg my pardon for the sluggishness. I've petitioned to have this thing replaced, but the encryptology department refuses to let us invest in newer models. Potential security risks, or so they claim. Boogeyman hogwash, I say. An upgrade has been long overdue. Maybe once our deal with Radium finally goes through, they'll be a bit more welcoming of true progress, eh? You nod along politely, pretending to understand what he means. As long as it doesn't involve cryptos. You're unsure the display looks convincing. Still, by the sounds of it, you'll be stuck here for a while. How do you kill time? Yeah, what was up with that guy? You mumble the question, half embarrassed and half afraid of Mr. Bogard's potential reaction. His blue eyes fill with bitter disappointment, although his good mood doesn't waver. I cannot apologize enough for Mr. Aguilar's attitude, let alone the harm it caused you. I should have taken measures to correct his behavior long before things reached this point. I truly hope you'll forgive my crippling oversight. He makes it sound like the guy tried to kill you or something. Sure, he was intimidating, but unforgivable seems a bit much. As you ponder what kind of circumstances led to such contempt from Emiliano, Mr. Bogard regains his prior cheeriness. However, let it be known that I expect no such
attitude problems from you, friend. The woman who recommended you for this position, your aunt, I believe, she had nothing but great things to say. She assured me you were an extremely positive person with a can-do attitude and exceptional emotional resilience, and no crippling depression at all whatsoever. And that's exactly the kind of person we need more of here at Smyrna Corp. You answered a giant's compliment with an awkward chuckle. Internally, however, you are scraping. Knew your aunt was bound to lie in order to guarantee you an interview, but she could have picked something more fitting for a clinically depressed shut-in who can't afford their own prescription. As you force yourself to smile through an impending panic attack, the elevator comes to a grinding halt, its grillage door sliding open. Squeeze out of here. And it's like, because if you did have any normal human vulnerabilities, we'll throw you in the meat grinder. I battled to wiggle past Obuya, though you soon find yourself free of the claustrophobic lift and breathing a bit easier. Mr. Bugard follows suit, flipping a light switch to illuminate the otherwise pitch-black room. You ever get struck by lightning? You know. Welcome to my humble office. Ah, so that's what this place is. An office wouldn't have been your first guess. The rectangular space before you is reminiscent of an oversized police interrogation room. The walls are painted glossy black, glistening in the sepia glow of a low-hanging ceiling lamp. And if it weren't for the obvious two-way mirror in the back, the room would appear infinite in size. A boundless expanse of inky shadow extending in every direction. That's what it does, yeah. A single desk sits at the room's center, made from a block of carved mahogany. Coffee-stained paperwork covers its surface like some madman's wallpaper, and countless colored wires sprawl across the floor, as though the varnished wood had somehow sprung electrical roots. Leather chairs fit to dwarf royal thrones loom over both ends of the table, no doubt custom built to accommodate Mr. Bugard's colossal frame. The behemoth briskly motions for you to take a seat. You sink so far into the plush leather, it feels more like the seat takes you. Prying yourself out of these comfortable depths, your eyes turn to the sparse assortment of unusual baubles decorating the table's corners. On this side, there's an antique candlestick phone, whose mouthpiece is made to look like a large roosting bat. Okay. On that side, there's an old-fashioned record player adorned with a gaudy, gilded, Schmierdekorp logo. In front of me, there's a nameplate engraved with the words, Abuya Bugard, Senior Substitution Department Supervisor. And scattered all over the place, there are piles of VHS cassettes, each one labeled with tags written in Latin, Farsi, or ancient Greek. Maybe all of the above. The item which perplexes you the most, however, is a vinyl record snugly wrapped in yellow keep-out tape. Holy not ominous at all. Mr. Bugard notes you're interested with an amused arch of his brow. You wouldn't happen to be a fan of jazz, would you? You like jazz? I love jazz! Abuya's smile could grow no bigger, but it certainly shines brighter upon hearing your enthusiastic answer. Well then, I'm quite excited to find out what a fellow connoisseur will think of this particular gem. Carefully placing the confidential vinyl onto an old record player, Mr. Bugard lowers the needle and bids you to listen. A strange, somber soundscape slowly fills the office with a blues-inspired rhythm you can't quite compare to anything you've heard before. It's not appalling per se, but it's perhaps a little messy and eerie enough to make you uncomfortable. The duet voices of a man and woman muttering warbled lyrics only adds to the strangeness. You can't make out a word they're saying except for the chorus verse. Let's call the whole thing off. Gina and Herschel Gershwin. Twins, if you're wondering. Not a couple, despite all the turbulent rumors that once surrounded their odd relationship. I've never met them myself, but I do know they could have been bigger than the Beatles back in the band's heyday. The Hot Miami soundtrack. Like, never played that. The biggest case of my career was making sure they wouldn't be. And I always found it tragic that only one of their records was left intact in the world. Though I also feel quite lucky to be the man who owns it. Few will ever have the privilege of hearing such avant-garde work. They could've... Wait, are you saying that you sabotaged them? Yeah, the biggest case of your career was making sure they wouldn't be, so you sabotaged them? Am I reading that correctly? Sabotage? You utter a few admirative oohs and ahs, feigning interest to conceal your perplexity. What does a human resource company have to do with ruining musician careers? And how does could Obia be employed, let alone alive, during the birth years of rock and roll? He's not that old, is he? Before you can scrutinize the man's non-existent wrinkles, he promptly clears the stray documents from his desk, making space for a repulsively familiar sheet of paper. Your loathsome fucking resume, laid bare for the world to gawk at. God, you're sick of seeing that thing. Do we even know what year this takes place in? Far enough that we own a brick phone. When we mentioned in the beginning that us owning a brick phone, like one of those burner phones that you could just flip phones that you could just snap in half. Not really a brick phone. I keep saying brick phone, but it's a burner phone. You would like snap them in half in Breaking Bad. Like back in my day, I used to own one of those. Yeah, so there's nothing odd about him being alive back then. So yeah, no, this is at least modern day, because us in an opening narrative, they said us owning a flip phone instead of a touch screen was weird. Like it was just something cheap we had on hand. So you finally saw yourself keenly aware of just how dangerous the man could be should he choose to embrace violence over verbal repartee. Time to begin our little interview. I'll be asking you a series of questions. Some will appear rather peculiar, others rather insinuous. They may be difficult to answer at times, as you've not been made fully aware of your position, nor of Smyrna Corp's company goals. However, I still request that you provide honest and instinctive responses. Regardless of context, they'll give us a better idea of the role you'll be assigned during your time among us. Wait. You have to ace an interview before being told about the job you're applying for? What a mess. Either Smyrna Corp has an unintuitive hiring process, or their non-disclosure agreements are so incestuously interwoven no one can get any work done without being strangled to death by red tape. So, Abilia's words made one thing clear. The only way you'll get hired and earn a salary to pay the rent you owe is by acing this goddamn interview, no matter what it takes. I'll try my best, sir. Abuya chortles with satisfaction. The sound is deep and rumbling as a rock slide at the bottom of a well. Wonderful! Let's get started. Question 1. A runaway locomotive is barreling down a set of road tracks at uncomfortable speeds. In its path lay 5 people. It's just a trolley problem. Tied down and unable to move. If nothing is done, the locomotive will surely crush them and end their lives in an instant. You stand in a train yard, next to a large lever. You know that if you pull it, the locomotive will divert its course on a separate track. However, this will cause it to crush a different person who is also tied down to this alternate path. How do you ensure all 6 people escape this tragedy alive? Untie the single person and then pull the lever? Well, that's not quite the where do you see yourself in 5 years shtick you're used to. How the hell are you supposed to respond? Yeah, let's see, operate the lever. You have to run fast and out. It's like, untie everyone before the I don't think I could untie everyone. Yeah, it's like I was thinking, like, just untie the one it's like,
one person and pull the lever, like get them out before then. Because trying to untie 5 will take too long. So just do the one because it's easier. I'll try and mess with the lever. You're not exactly the foremost authority on train yard technological advances. We're pretty sure conductors have developed multiple automated and manual failsafes, specifically to prevent cartoonish catastrophes like these. If not, you have $1 million idea to pitch. That's an impressively refreshing answer, although to be candid, many representatives in our departments would strongly disagree with your technology-based solution. The tweed behemoth gestures to the yellowing documents strewn about his desk, and the babbles at its corners. All of them appear ancient enough to have been stolen from an unsuspecting museum's oldest shelves. Like, good lord, how old is this man? One YouTube channel does really interesting Yeah, no, I did. Are you talking about, I know exactly what you're talking about, Cody. I know, I just forget the name of it. Mind something? Vsauce, yeah, it was a series he did. Vsauce did a series called Mind Something, I think. But I saw that episode. I know exactly that episode. It's free on YouTube for those of you wondering. So look up the series for Vsauce. I highly recommend it. It's very interesting. Let me blow my nose. There we go. Yeah, it was really good. Really, the hard part was figuring out how to pull it off ethically. They were like, how can we do this without breaking the Geneva Convention? And going to fucking jail. Smirnocorp was built upon a simple ideal that mankind's potential must not be entrapped by progress's false promises of privacy. Efficiency is no excuse to discard anonymous practicality. Yeah, exactly, with the whole instant assurance and having psychiatrists on hand. Yep. It's like, we will give you free therapy, so don't sue us. Our old hat philosophies of reliance on erratic devices have kept this company on the path to success for decades. But the world is changing, and we cannot remain blind to the additional insights technology can provide. After all, can we think outside the box if we lack the tools to grasp how big the box has become? Especially in our ever-so chaotic digital era? You're not quite sure how to respond to that, let alone how it applies to human resources. But you still managed to stammer out some words of agreement, which hopefully imply you were thinking the same thing.
I got technological literacy! Yay!
Your overall intelligence relative to the matter of machines influences your tool proficiency, learning speed, and instinctive computing abilities.
You get stats!
Let's go.
I like numbers.
Now moving right along to question 2. Could you kindly rephrase your greatest flaw so that it sounds like your greatest strength? Be advised, I do not want to hear any of that cowardly, I'm too much of a perfectionist, or I'm a huge workaholic claptrap most folk use to make themselves sound flawless. I want a proper, blameworthy weakness reconfigured into a proper, praiseworthy strength. Understood? Exactly yeah, so I already have an answer for that. It's like, well, because I'm very forgetful, I tend to write things down and keep things organized. So that way, if I'm trying to recall something, I'm able to retrieve any information I need instantly. Boom, done. See, I'm good at these kind of interviews. This is why I don't have a job. It's like, this is why I'm a hunter. The behemoth leans forward and the room's darkness looms with him. Both close and around you like the walls of solitary confinement cell with the rope of an eager hangman's noose. Better think of something good. What if I lose the notes? I suffer. It's like, I kid. I get paid well with my hunter job. I just have to make sure I make enough commissions each month. Take up those C and D ranked quests when the S ranks are lacking, you know, just to pay the bills. Yeah, you browse social media, but you keep updated on current trends. You spend too much time chatting, but it helps them understand. You often try solving problems with brawn, not brains.
Go with the first one. The world is a volatile place, and not just politically. Advances in computing are constantly revolutionizing the way we interact as a species on a daily basis. But staying informed online allows you to adapt, or even thrive despite those changes. It has nothing to do with the fact that you have a mild internet addiction. A wonderful response, if I do say so myself. Too often do our underperforming employees fail to consider the context in which our clients are placed, or the negative consequences a seemingly positive decision can have in the long term. A data-driven, future-facing perspective such as yours could prevent excessive occurrences of such common issues. Furthermore, in light of our upcoming partnership with Radium Inc., your familiarity with modern technology shall provide an invaluable lesson for our onboarding our, shall we say, older-timed staffers. Oh no, not the boomers. No kidding. If he means the kind of staffers that work on typewriters instead of laptops, you'll practically need an on-call doctor to keep them from having heart attacks once you teach them touchscreens exist. Sticking under your breath, you prepare yourself to answer Mr. Regard's following question.
I got more technological literacy. I'm gonna be so smart.
Now then, onward to our final inquiry. Regarding your schooling, I would like you to... Well, if you could just explain the, Goodness, how do I explain this delicately? The behemoth's words trail into muttered mumbles, his velvet thunder voice degrading into something more akin to a bumblebee stuck in a big dog's mouth. His blue eyes dart between you and the paper's underwhelming bullet points with increasingly disgusted concern, as though finally noticing what kind of unemployed aberration has stepped into this building. It's an unfortunately common reaction to anyone who's read your CV. The singers on the record player shout a loud suggestion to just call the whole thing off. Their advice for better work goes unheeded. Well, at the risk of sounding insensitive, I truly appreciate some insight regarding your academic background. How do you believe a workplace of our nature could benefit from hiring someone with such a dubiously incompatible education? You begin sweating bullets. Big bullets. The kind of caliber robot cops must use in action movies from the 80s. Of course it was going to come down to this. No matter how dearly you wish it were possible, you can't magically go back in time and study something more prestigious for today's job market. But you might be able to describe your weird diploma in a way that makes a strikingly employable impression. Yeah, you're technically a high school dropout. Oh no. I've been doing a lot of technology stuff. We'll go with child psychology. You're good at reading people and creating emotional rapports. You're unsure what kind of services Smyrna Corp really offers, but no doubt social services could come in handy with human resources. By honing your communication skills and providing extra insight into people's personality quirks, your schooling should prove useful in dealing with clients and coworkers. You discuss some of the intricacies of your most memorable seminars, specifically those concerning mental development and lingering infant trauma known to emerge decades later. Yeah, I could have gotten a Frisbee degree, but I'm like, nah, I'm gonna get kicked out for a fucking Frisbee degree. Then again, maybe he likes Frisbee. Examples of how early experiences inform otherwise incoherent attitudes among grown adults. This regard concern mellows the curiosity with every passing explanation. Then as your story concludes, he regards you with outright admiration. I cannot even begin to explain how often our Smyrna Corp representatives fail to consider the significance of formative experiences when it comes to mapping out our individual psyche. Childhood memories are oft overlooked, yet integral to determining the root cause of a client's wants, fears, or failings. In our most extreme cases, identifying those root causes is utterly essential to succeed. The fact that you have such a thoughtful and informed perspective before starting your first day, no less, is truly, truly incredible. Correcting human behavior is a complicated, multi-layered process, but your pre-existing awareness of that fact will be a major access. It actually worked! Yeah! I don't know if we actually have a degree, but we told them we did, so we do now.
His flattery sends swarms of butterflies fluttering about your stomach. It's been a while since you've last received such a compliment, let alone felt actual pride in yourself, as opposed to the usual undercurrent of exhausted shame. Ironically, a therapist would probably have questions for you about that. I've got social aptitude and psychology specialization. Oh shit, I literally chose my background. I was telling the truth. Those are skills you acquire by studying the inner workings of developing minds. I got social aptitude. Your overall charisma, honed through countless interpersonal interactions, influences your persuasive capability, perspicacity, and conversational finesse. Okay. I've been a fox for like a half hour. I should turn back. Yeah, I am. Yeah, my Pepsi capacity. Very important. Anywho, I believe that concludes our questionnaire for today. As for your results, the man's enormous fingers crumple your CV into a ball and toss it aside. What? Why are you turning me back? Like, alright, I guess I'll stay a fox for a while longer. Bounces across the wide-laden floor, disappearing into an inky corner of the abyssal room. Why not? Okay, fair. Very compelling argument. Your chest tightens, panic swells. Catastrophic scenarios and thoughts of crushing failure explode throughout your head. Abuya's smiling beam diffuses them all. To tell you the truth, this little meeting of ours was nothing more than a corporate-mandated formality. Between your aunt's growing recommendation and the fact that you showed up to our office on such short notice, I knew from the very start that I'd be wanting you on board.
Yeah, Fox Girl, no. Just Fox.
After this discussion, I'm pleased to announce that my hunch has been confirmed, and I am most pleased to be extending you a permanent employment offer. Hang on, you actually want to hire me? What? You've never been this close to getting employed in ages. You almost expect the man to reveal it was a cruel prank this whole time. Instead, Mr. Bogard chuckles, amused by your gas reaction. I'm dead serious, friend. In fact, you didn't just meet my expectations, you exceeded them. They do a really good job of making this guy super intimidating in that you want to trust him, but he never stops being scary kind of way. I know, right? Like, yeah, it was just a prank, bro. The camera's right there. Our exchange has revealed that you're an incredibly resourceful and technologically savvy individual, able to employ every tool at your disposal to its utmost potential. Whether faced with technical issues, a need for urgent repairs, or complex procedures involving Smyrna Corp devices, I have no doubt you'll be quick to adapt, thriving where others would flounder. There's a risk you focus on the cutting edge. Your focus on the cutting edge may cause you to lose sight of the human element in certain situations. But your addition to our ranks as a technician would be an unquestionable benefit. So, would you deem my interpretation of your aptitudes accurate, or have I misconstrued the content of your character? Sure. 100%. Flattered by Obuya's appraisal, you relish in the satisfaction of having been truly seen. It's not every day you get such a precise, quantifiable breakdown of your unique abilities. May they serve you well in tackling the horrors to come. Foreshadowing? Good to know. Very good indeed. In that case, I'd nudge administration to start producing your contract. I'll unfortunately have to remain cagey about some details, such as workplace tasks or starting salary. All the legal hoopla has been sorted. Sus. But assuming you care to accept the generous starting offer... Mr. Bogard's chuckling deepens as he extends a massive hand. His blue eyes are bright with joy, his tongue hungrily running over his pure white teeth. Please allow me to formally welcome you as the newest member of Smyrna Corp. I look forward to reviewing your performance. Holy shit, it's actually happening! You're gonna have a job, you're gonna have money, enough of it to pay rent, keep a roof over your head, food, anything. Just shake the man's head. You cannot help but sniffle as you extend your hand, eyesight blurred by tears of sheer relief. I look forward to not fucking this up, yeah, right? Yet even through that weeping haze, you could still see the behemoth's grin, spreading like a bird's unfurling wings. More specifically, those of a repsidious buzzard diving in to snatch a rodent with razor-sharp talons. It's like, I need to dive into this tissue. There you go, sip some water. Reading really triggers my allergies. No, it's like for some reason when I read like visual novels and stuff like this, my nose gets all stuffy. I don't know if it's just the pressure of my sinuses while I talk. I don't know. Instincts urge you to pull away, but the behemoth's pounce comes too quickly. Before you can possibly react, your entire hand is engulfed within a fist the size of a ripe cantaloupe. Yeah, that's why I can't breathe. Oh god. Almost instantly, something begins feeling terribly wrong. Did he break our hand? Despite Mr. Bogard's pure white smile, it feels as though your new boss is trying to leave you crippled from the wrist down. Hello? But all that pain is nothing next to the sharp, stabbing agony suddenly shooting through your palm. You cry out in pain, begging Bogard to let go. Fight to pry your fingers free, but the giant's grip is iron and deaf to your complaints. If anything, he squeezes harder. Remember when you were taking your SIA training and the interviewer shook your hand? He had the strongest handshake you felt it actually hurt. Oh god. I gotta break free. Oops. The needle point pain inside your hand sinks even deeper. Deep enough for you to think it might pierce the whole way through. Deep enough for you to wonder if it could somehow kill you. Your jaw unhinges to let out a scream. Ugh! Before a single sound comes through, Mr. Bogard lets you go free with an innocent sounding oops. Dearie me, I was a tad too tight there, wasn't I? Beg pardon, friend, I tend to forget my own strength sometimes. I think this is a warning. The tweed behemoth lets out an earnestly apologetic chuckle. You force yourself to chuckle back, but the laughter takes tremendous effort. Hard to buy his excuse, no matter how believable it may be. Panicked, you palpate your palm and numbed fingers, searching for any scars left by the thing that was drilling through your flesh. This is great villain writing. It really is. But there's no wound, no torn skin, no deep cuts, not even mild bruising. You don't even feel the pain anymore. All you find is a single bead of bright red blood, no bigger than a pinhead. He took our blood. That was a blood ritual. The trick to winning handshakes. When the other guy reaches for the handshake, don't grab his palm, grab his fingers. Just like, eh. You wipe it away, frantically seeking what lurks beneath. Warms to the touch and leaves a scarlet smear across your skin like a painter's brush. If there's no sign where the pain has come from, no wound, no scar, there could be swelling, but it's faint enough to make you suspect the bulge isn't really there. Maybe, just maybe, it was all in your head. Double check the swelling. You press down hard with the tip of your thumb, searching for a lump of her stiffness. Before you're sure you've spotted something, a clatter interrupts you. You try to be firm with handshakes, but you're also big, so you worry about hurting people. There. Got them big hams. From one of his desk drawers, Mr. Bogard withdraws a slab of metal the size of a stovetop. At first, you assume it's a tablet device, custom built to fit the tweed giant's fingers and resist our vice-like strength. Perhaps a turntable meant for an aspiring DJ, painted in drab colors. It's like, what if he just started rapping? A closer look reveals something older and chunkier, made of gray aluminum and solid beige plastics. Blinking buttons, flickable switches, knobs and sliders, all kinds decorate its crowded surface with the cluttered interface too complex to grasp at a glance. Despite your fondness for outdated tech, you cannot tell what kind of machine this is, nor what purpose it's meant to serve.
He ain't never scared.
Your best guess is an old movie prop stolen from the studio set of a sci-fi film from the 1950s. Not necessarily a good sci-fi film. Mr. Bogard bends over to grab heaping handfuls of wires off the messy floor. Seemingly at random, he sorts through dozens of them at a time, plugging only a paltry few into the device's outlets.
Now that the pleasantries are finally done with, I suggest we proceed to the evaluation portion of our exchange.
Aha! You're wondering when you get to that part! The beam of the pier is taken aback by your expectant nod, but even more surprised by the nervousness your lousy poker face can't conceal.
Though you were told to expect a test, you were also warned to be wary.
You're not particularly excited to find out what the machine has to do with it. Like, I don't know, probably bad things.
Come now, no need to get so agitated. I've already agreed to hire you. It's not like I'll be terminating your employment before your first probationary milestone. The format of this evaluation, it will be similar to our open-ended interview questionnaire, but this time I'll be presenting intentionally confusing scenarios that the most Smyrna Corp employees might encounter during their day-to-day tasks. Your goal is to present solutions to each particular system as you deem appropriate, regardless of how unconventional this suggestion may seem. Yet again, there are no wrong answers, but I will tally your responses to determine how much supervision you'll require during onboarding. In other words, I once more encourage honesty over making a good impression, for both our sakes.
The beam flickers a larger switch upon his instrument's dashboard. Whoops. A low, droning, palpable hum fills the shadowy room. The light bulb hanging above you flickers, then goes dark, bathed in an already dim room in nigh absolute darkness. Only devices' glowing buttons reflected a two-way mirror provide you with any light.
Shall we get started?
Call the whole thing off. The record player begs you over and over again. Seems to be stuck in place and skipping a few beats. Unfortunately, your body is also stuck in place, petrified in your plush chair, and your heart is skipping a few beats more. You give your sore hand a tight squeeze, and hope the throbbing will stop soon. Can I get a little more information?
Mr. Regard denies the request with a firm shake of his head. Ignorance is key, he explains. The more prepared you are, the more inaccurate the results, and I am a man who greatly values precision.
Your new boss's breath-worse thick fingers push one of the machine's sliders to its absolute limit. The room's brassy hum increases in pitch and frequency.
I'll start you off with an easy one. Let's say, hypothetically, that you're supervising a group of employees from a different company. They hired you to isolate the source of their decreased productivity, then remedy the issue. It doesn't take long for you to identify the problem. One of their staff members is extremely troublesome. The giant pauses, uttering a tisk of irritation. Since he wasn't supposed to specify this mystery employee's gender. Oops. When he speaks again, he enunciates slowly with more careful consideration. This hypothetical individual has an undeniably inadequate productivity level. They never meet bare minimum expectations. They lack punctuality. Disrespect their colleagues. Browse unsavory websites with company property instead of dedicating their limited work hours to completing overdue urgent paperwork. Their misconduct is continuous and condemnable. Condemnable. Double contact welcome, yeah, or... Yeah, apply for a job. That's a person I just apply for a job. Yeah, this guy likes to ask some very strange questions. We may have shook hands with Satan. Who knows? But hey, well, at least we'll get paid. An employee has been given multiple warnings and provided with opportunities to improve their performance. Both have either failed or been ignored. The client is contemplating firing the problematic worker, We're concerned that becoming understaffed during an especially critical moment of the fiscal quarter could jeopardize their important deadlines. What do you think should be done to establish the client's baseline productivity? Ooh. Because I got the technological literacy and the psychology, I could answer based off of these. Ooh. If you were to buy this game and support developers, you could make different choices and have different dialogue options. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. See. Give them their chance. Lay them off. Install software that limits access to non-work websites.
Yeah, don't, Michi. No, I'm a fox. I'm not a cat.
How does this person to understand the root of their poor behavior? Well, if they're wasting time looking at porn, we should make it so they don't waste time looking at porn. An employee is just compulsively texting and web surfing. Why not cut this problem off at the source? Most office networks limit access to undesirable content nowadays. So it can't be that hard to set up. Plus, it'll prevent future staffers from indulging the same habit. Did I make this game? No. Like, I haven't made a game in years. I'm sponsored. The link is in the pin. And also the YouTube VOD description. Though your internet-based solution might be complicated to implement in a workspace that relies on refurbished typewriters, Abuya's blue eyes bulge with admiration, his lips curling into an empathetic ooh. This is exactly why I keep telling upper management we need fresh thinkers in the office. The perspectives you bring to the table aren't limited to our old hat ideologies, and are much more in tune with our planet's current digital landscape. That's why the upcoming deal with Radium Inc. won't just improve our technological infrastructure. It'll improve our technological literacy and technical imagination. Yeah, you're gonna check it out? Cool! You can also just, it's like, you can wish list it and wait for it to go on sale, because I know there's a game festival coming up in a couple weeks, which is why I got this key, because I signed up for it. And by signing up for it, I mean that people can send me their games and I'll stream it. So that's why I was like, yeah, you can buy it now or wait for it to go on sale, whatever you want to do. Either way, it supports the developer. Furthermore, I love that the core of your strategy essentially relies on imposing discipline through ignorance and obfuscation, which are techniques Smirnocorp values dearly. After all, how can slaves ever think to disobey if they were only allowed to learn? The man already used the word slaves. Red flag alert. It's like, he used the yes word. Run! Run! You're not sure you enjoy that comparison. That was not a comparison. Like, boy, sir, that was not a comparison. Yeah, he said the quiet part out loud. Yeah, exactly. That's the scary part. Yet, if emphasizing his point, the giant fiddles with his antique devices, myriad buttons and knobs, and a series of complex operations. Obuya completes his complex mechanical operation with a flourish of flashing lights and a sequence of high-pitched beeping. The machine's noises are loud, but not startling. Not compared to the other sound. It's faint at first, muffled, maybe distant, subtle enough to make you wonder if it's part of the record player's flute. But the longer you listen, the more unmistakable it becomes. Someone, somewhere, is screaming. Your nails dig into the armrests of your overlarge leather seat. Your eyes dart about the room, searching for the noise's source before landing on a two-way mirror in your own aghast reflection. It's coming from across the glass. You hold your breath and wait for the scream to rise up again, but there is only the record player's music. Music, and the white noise buds of Bergard's machine as he hems you back to attention. If you're in need of a restroom, I can point you in the right direction. Otherwise, I'd ask you to please complete this evaluation with a smidge less fidgeting, it negatively impacts our tool's acoustics, you see. What acoustics? It's like you didn't even hear it. Was that scream inside your head? Just like the pain in your hand from before? Or maybe... He's gonna deny it, so I'm just gonna act like nothing happened for now. You hold your tongue, unwilling to disrupt the tool's acoustics any further. Besides, strange things have been happening ever since you set foot in this building. Everyone's been acting like it's completely normal. There's probably nothing wrong, right? Abuya flips another switch. The room's buzzing shifts into a frequency so oddly low you feel it sending ripples through your organs. The giant gestures your way with stifled fingers, further disturbing your unsettled guts. Now, let's say, hypothetically speaking, that our problem employee has a more specific shortcoming. He is utterly unwilling to cooperate with one of his coworkers. Perhaps it's a matter of long-standing interpersonal friction originating from external sources. Maybe there is an irreconcilable difference between them in terms of moral, political, or religious beliefs. Regardless of the exact circumstances, our floundering staffer has proven themselves incompatible with playing nice with their high-performing teammate. This has resulted in a severe decline in both their productivity levels. Knowing we cannot relocate the problem employee to a new department, nor displace their high-performing partner, how do we ensure the former collaborates with the latter, despite the deeply rooted discord between them? So if I had the frisbee degree, I could have them probably play frisbee to duke it out. Our performance doesn't. Maybe he's being sabotaged. Successfully fired a problem employee. Principles are not learned, not biologically dictated. Teach them new values better suited to a workplace. I mean, I could just have them fire the guy, but where's the fun in that? Why don't we just brainwash him? It's like, oh, I could tell you guys to just fire him, not like a normal person, but why do that? Where's the fun in that? Your mind drifts to extreme rehabilitation scenarios. Neo-Nazis mellowed out through exposure to inclusive media. Violent teens overcoming aggression through extensive therapy. They're not quick or cheap solutions, but they do prove people can overwrite new behaviors with new, compassionate values. Your new boss's bright white smile twinkles with tremendous satisfaction. He tweaks his device's knobs with giddy abandon. You're absolutely right. Too often do we believe people act in certain ways by default, as though personality or upbringing were immutable entities. But psychologically speaking, not only can anyone become anything, they can be made to become anything through tactical exposure to new perspectives. Individuals are the sum of environments and ideas they have been exposed to. Thus, adding or subtracting experiences from that human equation alters the result. Unfortunately, there are times when the only solution is to erase every belief a person holds dear and start from nothing. But that's just part of the job description. We wouldn't be offering such competitive salaries if designing boutique psychological profiles were easy. Wait, you do brainwash people? Sir, we're at a job interview. Stop tweaking your knobs. We're gonna ask the interviewer what the hell he means. Another sound reaches your ears. It's not a person's scream this time, but neither is it a vinyl's tune or a machine's hum. It resembles a dull, wet, rhythmic thud. Once. Twice. Thrice you hear it. A little louder every time. Your eyes dart about the room, looking for the noise's source. You find it staring back at you from across the two-way mirror, begging to be let out. Your mouth goes dry as it hangs open. Your fingers shakes as you start to point it out. Then without a warning,
The thudding suddenly stops. All that remains is silence, and a message written in scarlet smears. A cry for help no one can answer. All he does is harumph at it, annoyed. I really need to put more pressure on that janitor. The soundproofing in here has been unacceptable as of late. With more grouchy grumbling, he tweaks a couple of his device knobs, as if nothing happened. And noticing your aghast expression, he furrows his brow. Not with concern, but confusion. Is something the matter?
Everything's fine!
You wipe the sweat from your brow and try to control your breathing. You tell Mr. Bugard it must be the air down here making you lightheaded. Feels like you keep saying things, but none of it could be real. It can't be. Wonderful. I'm thrilled you're willing to be so cooperative despite these distractions. Now we're getting to the conclusion of our conjectural conundrum. Let's say, and I cannot stress this enough, that our aforementioned staff are as hypothetically assigned to contain a major data breach. And with consequences that could spell disaster for their company and co-workers alike.
Now if you want attention.
The sensitive nature of this task requires them to exterminate or indefinitely debilitate any individuals who have witnessed this leaked information, so they become incapable of further dissemination. In this case, the information has only been accessed by two people, the employee's spouse and their prepubescent offspring. This man is not human. Needless to say, our employee is reluctant to perform their duty and exterminate these individuals. However, if either family member remains alive, the company stands to lose everything. Furthermore, should they refuse to tie up these proverbial loose ends, you will be required to do so in their place, as outlined in your Smyrna Corp contract. In short, how do you ensure these targets perish as intended and that this data breach remains contained regardless of this problematic employee's hesitation? How about we don't murder people? Yeah, how the individuals look quick. It's like, well, one of them was the wife. It sounds like a wife and child. Once you kill their family to burn company secrets, there has to be a better way. As you stammer your undignified answer, Mr. Bugard's expression goes from jolly to deadpan faster than you think. He fiddles with his instrument settings with a disappointed frown, indifferent to your pleading. Okay, have them in for a tour and have security handle them. Normally I applaud any employee when they consider better ways for doing things around here. But I sense you're less interested in optimizing your duties and more concerned with avoiding them. Frankly, if this is how you act to a hypothetical version of this scenario, I loathe to imagine your reaction when actually confront a situation in the workplace. It's like, darn, I guess I can't have you be my new assassin. Need to learn how to perform under pressure around here and fast. Drumming upon a few more buttons and listening a few more beeping noises, your manager expression shifts somewhat as his strange machine's monitor displays your evaluation's final score. Well, this is genuinely impressive. I had high hopes for you, but this exceeds even those anticipations by considerable leaps and bounds. Most of our employees need months, if not years of training to properly optimize our procedures while foregoing all ethical concerns. For you to demonstrate such dedication to efficiency without need for orienteering? That tells me you're destined to accomplish great, terrible things at this company. Great. Well, I barely had to make adjustments to your doppelganger engineering suggestions. What? Doppelganger. Unfazed by your panic or bafflement, Mr. Blood reaches for a nearby candlestick foam. Mouthpiece is Glee. Ah, Taffy. He jumped me.
Taffy, you're stinky.
The mouthpiece's realistically macabre roosting bat design makes it seem like he's clutching a live pipistrelli and shoving against the cavern that is his giant mouth. We're done here. You can show them now. The other end of the line, a reply is chirped. Abuya hands you the phone and motions you to listen to him. His pure white smile looks wide enough to tear his cheeks at the seams. I will accept the phone. Well, what do you say that could interpret as doppelganger engineering? I have no idea. You gingerly seize the occult antique. It takes you a few tries to grasp how the winged mammal is meant to be held, and even longer to hold the earpiece to your head. By the time you figured it out, you wish that you hadn't. The two-way glass at the back suddenly turns transparent, revealing yet another room filled with aesthetic contradictions and logical anomalies. Your first urge is to scream, but your voice makes no sound. That's Taffy's toy, because he's like, he wants to play. He's in a play mood, so I'm like waving his toy wand around while he chases it. Perhaps your cries are deafened by whatever the fuck is going on. You stand before what seems to be a hospital operating room. Its walls are adorned with a mix of dark wood panels and mounted stag heads, bathed in the sterile glow of circular fluorescent lamps. At the far back, you see the silhouettes of two surgeons toiling away behind a curtain, carving apart the skulls of their fully conscious, unsedated patients. Hey, Shelly. Yeah, the Taffman charges its toll. You want to look away, but you can't even blink. There's too much to take in. The patients! They also look like twins. Both have been tied down with belts to their respective surgical tables. Both are men with tan skin, furrowed brows, and bloodshot stares. Both have the tops of their heads partially concealed by curtains where the surgeons' silhouettes prod their scalps with forceps. Only one of them is screaming, as though death would be a mercy. Surgeon tools. Blood-stained aprons hang from wooden coat racks, while stainless steel surgical trays contain an assortment of gruesome devices. Bone saws, hand-cranked drills, and strangely hairy bone-white bowls glistening with dark red. Your stomach gurgles upon realizing they are the sliced-off tops of human skulls. TV in the ceiling. Boxy Technicolor units have been suspended above each patient's head. Their crackling screens blast them with an unrelenting montage of childhood videotape footage, warbled ECG readouts, brain scans, and news network broadcasts. Each man's eyelids are held open by metallic speculums, denying them the privilege of looking away. What kind of clockwork orange shit is this? There's a woman taking notes. She stands with her back to you, jotting down observations on a clipboard as she studies each victim's distinct reactions. Though her shoulders are shaking, she writes with a steady hand. The muffled sounds of saws slicing through bone threaten to make you throw up. But instead, you feel your heart sink deep into that pit of nausea and realize something truly chilling. You recognize two of the people in that room. The patient. Though his face is warped by fear and pain, there's no mistaking Emiliano Aguilar, the problem employee you were sent to replace. And from across the two-way mirror, he recognizes you as well. His shrieks turned into sob-choked pleas, his voice a feral shadow of the coarse drawl it once was. I explained the Ludovico technique? What is that? You! Please! Tell them I'll change! Tell them I'll do better! Just don't let them replace me! Melusine, I'm begging you! You can't do this to me! I have a fam! His words were cut off by gurgling spasms, eyes rolling back into their sockets as the surgeon silhouette behind him cuts something inside his head. Blood and brain matter splatters the curtain, hiding the worst of the scene, but the sounds of squelching meat and bones still carry over the receiver. Yet it's the other, calmer patient's voice that truly makes you nauseous. He doesn't just look like Emiliano. He sounds like him. Exactly like him. Oh, the Clockwork Orange torture thing. Yeah, no, I've seen the movie, so yeah. But a long time ago. You! Please, tell them I'll change. Tell them I'll do better. Just don't let them replace me. There's a question mark? I can't click it. The lookalikes face remains impassive. As his exposed brain is prodded at with a hand-cranked drill, the imitation of his neighbor's blood-churning cries is perfect. Every nuance, every pause for breath, reenacted down to the finest detail. Better than any audio recording you could ever imagine. More immaculate than a simulacra than any man or machine could ever be capable of. It's so perfect, in fact, that you're no longer certain which is the real Emiliano. Hey! Mezzaline! How was that? Am I laying the accent on too thick? It seems fine to me, but I'd recommend letting your voice crack once in a while. It's been known to happen when Mr. Aguilar is heavily inebriated. And considering his drinking disposition, that particular nuance will come up quite frequently. Gotcha, I'll give it another go. Hey, pal, can you give me some fresh material to rehearse? You're all a bunch of psychos! Motherfucking heartless psychos! Yeah, they're replacing him. It's Attack of the Clones. Emiliano sobs and howls himself raw, retching as the surgeon hacking his cerebellum induces full-body spasms. The other Emiliano merely clears his throat before howling much the same. You're all a bunch of psychos! Motherfucking heartless psychos! How about that? Bit better? Considerably. I will, notify the post-op technicians to implant a few more speech impediment-inducing memories and apply brain damage relative to Mr. Aguilar's alcoholism. That should iron out the last neurophysical kinks. Oh god, they're gonna give him brain damage. Did I at any point suggest replacing the employee? No. I told them to just block the porn. The other Emiliano gives a firm thumbs up, leaning back to enjoy his lobotomy with the lackadaisy indulgence of an expert barber's scalp massage. Mezzaline turns to face the glass. Her wide smile pulled painfully taut. She looks with tears and mascara streaking down her face, her grin seeming to cause more pain than either patient's cerebral surgery. Was there anything else you needed to say, Mr. Bogard? No, thank you, dear. That'll be all. Just wanted our new hire to get a better idea of the daily grind. Oh, but do let me know if we need to make adjustments to mediatic nutrition, will you? I'll be on standby. Teach them new values. Oh, I didn't mention that, didn't I? Oops. With a curt nod, the receptionist turns her back. You hear a click, then a dialed tone, and the phone's ceaseless screaming abruptly cuts off. Across the glass, Emiliano thrashes with all his might, the sound of his screeching muted once again. Yeah, you teach of new values has replaced them with one with the right values. Oh no. I don't know if my decisions really made that much of an impact. I don't know. You might have to buy the game and play yourself. So, what do you think? Yeah, pretend to be calm and curious so you can figure out what the hell is happening. You've studied childhood trauma long enough to know explosive reactions incite abusers to commit further violence. Yeah, and that they'll cut you up next. Even though it almost kills you, you keep your voice as steady as possible, expressing mild surprise and even milder confusion about the absolute nightmare unfurling before you. Mr. Bogard looks pleased as punch by your polite interest. A seismic laughter creeps up his cavernous throat as he gestures to the two Emilianos. I'm glad you're coming to this with an open mind. Most recruits get surprisingly antsy at this stage of our proceedings. What you see here is the most common and most heavily patented human resource service Smyrna Corp provides. We replace troublesome members of society with specially trained, lab-raised actors that will live more efficient lives in our target's place.
Difference between teaching, persuading, and brainwashing is just the scale. Yeah. And what's more, we've performed today's processes all according to your specifications.
Your specifications! You had nothing to do with this!
Unperturbed by your protest, regard motions of silhouetted surgeons currently picking at both Emiliano's wet, naked craniums.
I just told you to block the porn!
First, as standard procedure, we had our doppelgangers undergo extensive surgeries. This ensures their size and appearance matches their target. However, we also perform highly precise neural excisions and hormonal dosing sessions to ensure both replacement and replacee have identical synaptic pathways. This means they'll share the same tastes, reflex, and handicaps, wherever applicable.
It's not my fault!
Furthermore, as per your suggestion, I've encouraged our surgeons to physically excise all sections of the brain unrelated to workplace performance. Okay, maybe this is my fault. Okay, fine. This probably is my fault. I'm not entirely sure if that's how the so-called firewalls are supposed to work for computers, but either way, our doppelganger should only know to obedience to this. He misinterpreted what I said. No. Oh, this is terrifying. Okay, yeah, no, he did actually take what I said literally. Okay. Gee, I wonder how this would go if you bought this game and played it yourself. Okay, I'll stop. But I'm just saying, it seems like your decisions matter when you play this game. I'm just saying, it's very interesting. It's got my interest. I'm liking this. It's terrifying, but I'm liking this. After completing his bleak announcement with a showman's tone, the giant points to the device on his desk. Its myriad cables run along the floor and worm their way through slits in the two-way glass, connecting to the flashing televisions hanging above the patients' faces. Next, we bombard our subjects with doctored historical information and falsified childhood memory footage to rewrite their lived experiences. This will erase problematic attitudes and induce more desirable proclivities. I'm like this, said Delulu, referring to the villain. This also extends to the teachings of new morals or religious beliefs, which you suggested should be done to treat extreme societal cases. Stop throwing back what I said at me! And while Mr. Aguilar held some rather distasteful political views at the core of his character, rest assured, we have placed him with better values which align nicely with company interests. What if we had a Frisbee degree? What would he have done? I'm a little scared to know what would have happened if we had a Frisbee degree and told him to play Frisbee. What would he have done? Stop screaming. With emphatic flourish, Obuya tweaks another one of his machine's many knobs. A television screen flickers, replacing its gruesome slideshow with warfare footage with pictures of a pastoral farm. The latter amino squirms and screeches. I imagine if you told him to play a sport, he would have had the doppelganger fight him to death or something. That's just a theory, though. But, you know. Yeah, make them play Aztec Frisbee ball. Yeah. Finally, the tweed behemoth nods to Melusine, whose eyes glance between both her patients, taking notes whenever one of them imitates the other. The two are becoming increasingly impossible to tell apart. Last but not least, Miss Sage arguably has the most important task of all, quality assurance. You see, our procedure is human, not mechanical. Instinct trumps algorithm when it comes to understanding people. Thus, it's imperative for staffers with an eye for social cues to study the effects of non-sedated lobotomies, particularly during back-and-forth exchanges between target and replacement. This allows us to adjust mediatic nutrition quickly and to identify overlooked flaws in body language, voice modulation, or personality. This all ensures our doppelgangers perform their jobs correctly. Yeah, that's just the game theory. Speaking of instincts, I gotta use the bathroom. Let me switch back to normal. And then I'll go to the bathroom, BRB. Pee.
Okay, I'm back. Oh, Taffy ran off. Drink some water. Okay, there we go. I'm playing a solitaire game called Klondike. Like, what would you do for a Klondike bar? I do like me some solitaire. Yeah, it was fine. In other words, she'll be ensuring that at least one of these Aguilars exterminates their family members correctly. Miss Sage Sains is a woman who comes up with solutions, you see, not excuses. We would commit horrible evil crimes for a Klondike bar? He'd be like, I do it for free. Holy shit, he wasn't lying. You may not have pulled the trigger, but you did help him load the gun. As you reel from the weight of revelation, Obuya holds up 3 fingers. One by one, he curls them down. You're a pro Microsoft Solitaire player. Nice. Physical rewiring, psychological reconditioning, social reintegration. These are the pillars upon which Smyrna Corp's substitution services are built. This is how we guarantee that the tens of thousands of doppelgangers currently deployed to the office perform exactly as they must. It's how our company has controlled the source of human civilization for years upon years, steering in what direction our executives deem right. It's how the right people have showed up at the right times and the right places, how the wrong items or ideas have never appeared at inopportune occasions, and it's how you will help us do our job regardless of which department you were ultimately assigned to. At a Klondike bar, you saw a YouTuber talk about commercials.
They look tasty. Yeah, they are yummy. It's ice cream wrapped in chocolate in a little square.
It's like the size of your hand. So are there any further questions about your new job responsibilities? Why are you doing this to people? Mr. Bogard's expression darkens with disappointment. It appears your lack of imagination offends the man. His ensuing condensation is extreme. It prickles your skin with goose flesh and raises your blood pressure to all new heights. Why do you think we do this, What reason is there to do anything other than achieving control or acquiring capital? That's the only reason you agreed to this interview, isn't it? Frankly, our motives are just that simple, friend. The only difference is that Smyrna Corp seeks to control the tides of civilization itself, not to wait about the paddling pools those civilizations build for themselves. The tweed behemoth spreads his arms, taking up a dramatic stance. His muscular limbs cast a vast, all-consuming shadow, much like the one this company must cast over the world. Societies, you see, are merely sets of rules, meant to control select populaces, enforced by means of moral codes and legislative threats. Histories are not but narratives parading as objective fact, deterministically controlling the future by redefining the past. Economies are broad equations engineering to establish hierarchies and restrict freedoms indirectly. Our missive is to alter the evolution of all these entities, everywhere in the world for the betterment of our species. This can mean overturning governments with silent revolutions, establishing or destroying businesses to reroute the flow of wealth, even altering history in ways that force us to reinterpret the present. All the world's a stage, men and women merely players, but Smyrna Corp is the playwright, casting every actor's role. Today, your role has been decided too, and if you care to keep a roof over your head, you should refrain from delivering a disappointing performance. The giant's index finger prods your chest as he speaks. Each tap is like a bullet thudding against a Kevlar vest. Across the mirror, Emiliano screams as though he felt those gunshots too. He cries an ode to the dark future which awaits you. A future of perpetual, inescapable servitude. Oh, Double Doom Guy, welcome! We're getting a job in hell. How you doing? Well, we need the money, so... Like, he's right. You need the money. Agree to work here. At least until we save up enough. You went to casinos? Cool. Did you win? What'd you do? Blackjack? Shop machines? Did you have fun? $40 parking for you. Oh my god. The thought of helping these monsters makes you sick. Returning down the offer means you'll end up on the street. Unless you promise Bogard to work hard and do better than Emiliano. For now. 200 input, 225 return. Small loss, but happy. Yeah, in total, you did lose like $15, but at least you enjoyed yourself, and that's the important thing. Wonderful, but be advised, you'll need to perform very well for a very long time if you intend your time with us to be temporary. After all, we've already signed our first contract, and its strictest clauses do not expire anytime soon. The man's pale eyes drift toward your hand, the one he shook that you thought was bleeding. Looking into your palm, you realize the hunch was fully justified because something did pierce it. There's a lump beneath the skin. A small, subtle, rectangular protrusion you hadn't noticed until now. Probably because it wasn't flashing, let alone making an obnoxious sound.
Oh boy, it's beeping. It's a bomb.
This, my friends, is what we refer to as a non-disclosure microchip. A brand new addition to our confidentiality policy, specially designed by our future partners at Radium Inc. Serves as an ID to access our offices, but also as an employee loyalty failsafe. Should you ever admit brain activity associated with treason, unauthorized divulgation of confidential data, or any such nasty business, the chip will emit a warning signal. Should a warning go unheeded, a lethal dose of borodinium-210 will be discharged, a nigh untraceable radiotoxic isotope, capable of inducing total organ shutdown within seconds. Go! We're gonna die. Next time, you'll spend $500 to leave with 99 cents. In other words, lest you care to experience a particularly messy demise, I suggest you remain on your best behavior until you die of natural causes.
You've acquired a microchip. Oh boy.
Device implanted directly into your palm. Will kill you with radiation poisoning at the slightest hint of corporate infidelity. The microchip starts beating faster. Well, it matches the demented tempo of your beating heart. No telling which of two was about to explode first. Yeah, all you have to do is leak information without telling anyone. Yeah. Signal's interrupted by Mr. Begard tisking as he checks his belt-sized watch. Dearie me, seems I lost track of time. Another appointment beckon. I'm afraid our meeting is at an end. You'd best return home and get plenty of rest. You'll need it for your onboarding. He was like, no, without telling anyone. Oh, and please don't consider suicide a solution to prematurely terminate your employment. I'm well aware of your unfortunate mental health diagnosis, and I'd be ever so unhappy to see such a predictable scenario come to pass, especially since we'd just be wasting time replacing you with a doppelganger or otherwise. I recommend you try enjoying this if you can. Your moral crises and panic attacks should be like water, running off the proverbial duck's back. He knew this whole fucking time. As Abuya chuckles, an elevator's door screeches open behind you. The open shaft greets you like the gaping maw of a deep-sea fish. You glance between the open door and your manager, wondering if it's really safe to leave. By the time the behemoth gives you a cheeky wink, you're already making a run for it. Wonk, wonk. Your fingers mash every single button of the keypad's confusing display, hoping some combination of keys will get you as far as possible. Eventually, the grilled gate slams shut. The floor lurches upward, and Mr. Bagar waves goodbye, speaking the most chilling words you've heard all day. See you tomorrow! Your microchip's alarm slows to a crawl as all your hopes and dreams die a slow, whimpering death. Congratulations, you're hired. Proceed to their nervous breakdown. Let's go. Let's have a nervous breakdown. You're back in your apartment, but you're not sure how you got home. Probably because your brain is full to bursting with things you never wanted to know. Shredder Corp, doppelgangers, the fact that Bogard expects you to arrive at 6 a.m. tomorrow and learn even more. It's just too much. If for a moment you contemplate physically clawing out the knowledge festering inside your skull, but the intrusive thought evokes a far too vivid, far too visceral memory of what was happening to Emiliano, and what would happen to you next should you choose to disobey. You turn on the lights. Don't collapse to your bed and cry. Don't indulge whatever modest vices normally get you through each day. You merely toss your phone onto the counter, rush to the bathroom, drop down to your shaking knees, and void the contents of your stomach into a familiar bowl of porcelain. Blech. Oh god. As per usual, vomiting is both relief and agony. It burns your throat, not your stomach, makes you wish you were dead, yet the pain provides distraction from the horrors of the day. Maybe you haven't eaten much. The distraction would have lasted longer. Wiping shreds of puke-tinged saliva off your chin, you go wash your filthy face and brush the bile off your teeth. Bad for enamel, dentists claim. However, upon witnessing your reflection in a mirror, you freeze. A sagging, gaunt-or hollowed-eyed shadow of the person you used to be stares back. It's enough to make you wonder if you've also been replaced. Check for a lobotomy scar, why not? You palpitate your hairline for irregularities, flinching at every unfamiliar bump or budding bit of acne. But greasier than average scalp aside, you find nothing out of the ordinary. Rather breathing a sigh of relief, a new doubt nags at you. Abuya said there were countless doppelgangers already deployed to the public. There's no way that would go unnoticed if they all had massive zigzagging pockmarks looping around their heads. They must hide the wounds somehow. Maybe with permanent makeup or epidermal grafts or worse. Mind racing, heart pounding. You leave behind your puke-clogged toilet and begin searching for bleach to wash off your own skin. Don't put bleach on your skin. Stop it. Use the bleach to clean your fucking bed. As you navigate the unlit apartment, you sidestep stacks of trash and laundry by memory alone. You haven't tidied up in a long time. The place with each garbage landmine is familiar enough to be subconscious. And that's what lets you realize that something is wrong.
Yeah, clean it with hot sauce.
The floor is squeaky clean against your feet. Your bed sheets snugly pulled and fitted. The musk of shame and bice were replaced by one of ammonia. And in a panic, you flip the light switch and your suspicions are confirmed. Someone broke in while you were gone, and they cleaned the place. Oh my god. Like, don't pee on it. Like, oh my god, best burglar ever? Yeah, this could be Smirnoff Corpse doing. Check for bugs. There's no mistaking the smell of the cleaning Sullivan from the office. Someone from the company must have done this. Probably so they can keep an eye on you. Grabbing a screwdriver and pliers, you scour your apartment for proof. Yeah, it stinks of ammonia. You know what's in piss? Ammonia. So the apartment probably smells like piss. Sure enough, your paranoid hunch was proved correct. Though most of the devices are too small to see without squinting, the more you search, the more you find. There are cameras hidden inside power outlets, microphones dangled on light bulb filaments, some sort of radio-based photographic recorder concealed in your smoke detector, and the second you try moving one, a familiar screech is heard. Great, trying to regain a little privacy could end up killing you. And trying to flee instead? Well, who knows how far you'll... Typo. Who knows how far you'd really make it if they're aware of your every move. Your skull throbs as you contemplate methods to escape, but every option you come up with feels more futile than the last. Leaving the country and changing your name? Likely wouldn't be enough to wriggle out of Smyrna Corp's grasp. Suicide? Accomplishes nothing if doppelgangers can replace you. Consider betrayal by leaking company secrets? It's like, nope. A pinprick of green flashes beneath the palm, and the Spirit Corp ID chip reacts to your controversial thoughts. Like, stop having bad thoughts. As long as this thing is in you, you'll never get anywhere. To do something about it. Let's Google. You've often looked up guides for repairing or appliance repair. If you can fix a microwave after tearing it apart, you can most certainly handle this thing with the help of a good tutorial. Rushing to your laptop, you boot up a few search engines to begin your hunt for answers. Fortunately, the search ends almost instantaneously. Whether thanks to cameras, microphones, or some hyper-advanced brain scanner, microchips can even send you searching for controversial data online. Pushing your luck any further may well lead to lethal discharge. This is fucked. It's even more fucked that they blocked access to social media and porn sites, too. Corp likes their staffers to be discreet and chaste for some reason. L? What is Death Note? Not this hacker with a grudge against Corp knows too much for their own good. The warbled voice is also startling. You almost knocked the computer off your desk. Catching it at the last moment before it clatters to the floor. You move around the room in a panic, searching for hostile invaders in the corners of your empty home. Only familiar shadows stare back. Get out here. Call to them. You raise your laptop like a weapon and try to make yourself sound intimidating, but your crackling, half-sobbing voice isn't particularly threatening. The unseen stranger's warbled spiel continues without missing a beat. Settle down. I'm not here to hurt you. Just try to give a friendly warning to a fellow victim. Now come closer. It'll be easy to talk if I don't have to yell through this crappy speaker. Steadily, your eyes zero in on the voice's source. The old cell phone you've treasured for so long, emitting a soft vermilion glow and noises you've never heard it make. This, you suspect, is not a phenomenon the manufacturer intended. Dazed and confused, you flip your phone open. Not greeted by an icon, a caller ID, or a text message, but by distorted video footage. Deep within the live feed's peculiar reddish sheen, a static, warped face stares through the pixelated screen. The image quality is too low to tell if they're a man or a woman. The sound too tinny to decide if they're young or old. You still feel a nagging certainty that this person's important. Nice to finally meet you face to face, or so to speak, though I'm assuming you've had better days. Now, I don't have much time to explain what's going on. Listen close and make sure not to hang up, otherwise you could be in danger. Alright, I'll listen, for now. A high-pitched pulse of static rings out of your device. Laughter, you suspect. Odds are this person wasn't expecting you to agree so quickly, but they certainly aren't complaining either. Thanks, I knew I could count on you. Call me L, by the way. I'll give you my real name if I'd give you my real name if I could, but if Smyrna Corp ever picks your brain for answers, they could figure out who I am, where I live, or what I'm planning, and neither of us want that. That you do not. So since this L person doesn't mean brain picking in any metaphorical sense, your palms begin clamming up and your breathing becomes shrill. Maybe this was a bad idea. Don't worry, our connection's secure. I'm communicating on a limited frequency that disables your microchip's sensors and any other recording devices they might have installed. You can say or think anything you want with me. Spirit Corp won't know a thing. See, those human resource maniacs only trust in erratic, discontinued tech. It's a precaution against hacking attempts or something. That means cutting edge shit is almost always taboo to them, unless it comes from a trusted business partner. Shayo. Since your clunker of a flip phone still connects to cell towers, but not to the internet, I'm basically in the biggest, bestest, most unhackable blind spot I could ever ask for. The stranger speaks with tremendous confidence and neckbreak urgency. The fearful thrill of knowing time is limited mingles with the robotic coldness, but I cut to the chase. Who are you and what do you want from me? On your flip phone's warbled screen, L's image shifts and multiplies as their connection grows unstable. They take a deep breath before making their desperate, albeit honest request. Who I am doesn't matter right now. What does is the fact that I want to take down Smyrna Corp. Dismantle the entire company.
Reveal what they're done, and set the human race free. And now we got a taffy voice. I'm taffy now. To do that, I need help from someone on the inside. And you're literally the only person on the planet I can trust to do this. I become cat-ish. Your eyes bulge, your pulse quickens. Strangers just promised to tear apart the bars of your new cage. Must be a miracle. Perhaps too good to be true. I don't know how much you've heard about Spirit Corp's upcoming business partner during your interview, but they're looking to team up with this humongous tech conglomerate, Radium Inc. Yeah, no humans to stream, I guess. That's right, you did hear the name mentioned a few times. Not just at the office, but on the news, too. Hell, you vaguely remember being ghosted by their admin team after applying to work there. Though perhaps rejection was for the best since you lacked any relevant qualifications. As the makers of some of the most advanced consumer devices on the planet, Radiant's technologies are ubiquitous worldwide. From security cameras to self-driving cars, communication satellites, and smartphones, far more advanced than your antenna-bearing model. Their digital footprint is everywhere. However, their list of human rights violations is just as vast. Not a day goes by where the media won't report their latest lawsuits, their inhumane worker abuses, their hazardous waste dumping, their illegal data laundering, or even their consumer deaths. It's only a miracle a company hasn't already been sued into oblivion. Yeah, well, that might be happening pretty soon. I don't know all the details of the contracts they're working out yet. But I do know Radium is in deep shit. The company needs money fast, and since Smyrna Corp is about as cutting edge as a dial-up modem, they see a ton of potential of purchasing a more contemporary competitor. Thing is, this bio deal would help those maniacs control human history at a bigger scale than ever. The second this contract gets signed, Smyrna Corp will have access to a full suite of new radium hardware that's already been disseminated throughout the wider public. The kind of tools that could let them crank out more doppelgangers than ever, or even lobotomize people remotely. Yeah, imagine you had a remote control and you could just hit the lobotomy button. Think about it. Entire countries could have their populations replaced overnight. Databases of shared knowledge could be scrubbed in seconds. Objective truth and free will could forever become relics of a bygone past. Like, where Fox gone? Nah, Taffy's taken over. He's in charge now. The only way we stop that from happening is by hitting Smyrna Corp where it hurts before their deal goes through. Create the kind of data breach this company could never recover from. Your head, already full of bursting, bloats with further revelations. Reach for something to hold on to and almost fall over trying. So many doubts, so many fears, so many goddamn questions swim about your brain until it feels like your mind is drowning in them. You don't even know where to start. Yeah, Taffy's a strong boy. Bell's image blurs with worsening static, warning you to start asking soon. Why contact me? What am I supposed to do? Until a few hours ago, you were a jobless leech living in your relative's cheapest rental unit, surrounded by garbage effigies and a skyscraper of rejection slips. First time hearing a Taffy voice? Yeah, I guess it's been a while, hasn't it? Those should be quite literally billions of people more qualified to save the world than you. That's not true. I don't think there's a single person on Earth that could be more perfect for this job. Once you work at Smyrna Corp, meaning... One, you work at Smyrna Corp, meaning you have eyes on the inside. 2, you're a new hire, so no one will suspect for asking questions. That gives us a way to gather information without much risk. 3, you have that new radium microchip, which is way easier for me to bypass than older employees' non-disclosure failsafes. 4, you're desperate to escape, so I'm willing to bet you'll take a few risks. And 5, well, this one's more personal, but let's just say I have good reason to think you're capable and trustworthy. Bottom line is, I need your help, specifically, and so does the human race. The explanation is equal parts sensible and suspicious. But there's an undeniable earnestness to the plea, too. The stranger really does think you're a chosen one of some kind, though you're a bit insulted that it's mostly a matter of circumstances and not due to your new, unique brand of subpar skills. What does Radium stand to gain if this goes through? This contract sounds more like a one-sided acquisition than a proper partnership. Plus, judging from what little you know from Smyrna Corp, they don't exactly seem open to compromises. Impending bankruptcy or not, how does this benefit Radium? Are you seriously asking why the ethical subhuman tech conglomerate has an interest in partnering with people who control the world from the shadows? Not to be a dick, but I think the benefits kind of explain themselves, don't they? In retrospect, they kind of do, yeah. Still, you can't shake the feeling that there's more to this. Either something Radium is plotting in secret, or something else is deliberately refraining from telling you. Any more brilliant questions from me, or can we finally skip past the preamble and agree to team up? Fine, what do you need me to do? This whole situation is utter madness, but so is your upcoming tenure at Smyrna Corp. If you want to live without the shadow of replacement haunting you forever, helping this elf person is your best bet to break free. Maybe even your only bet. Glad to hear you're on board. We might actually have a shot at winning now. Vito's face on your phone screen warps nigh indiscernibly. You're not entirely certain, but you suspect Elle is smiling. When they next speak, their voice is more distorted than ever. It seems your connection is wearing thinner by the second. Alright, here's the plan. There's a maximum security facility deep below your Smyrna Corp office. Employees call it the Hive. I'm not 100% sure why it's called that or what it does exactly. All I know is that Smyrna Corp doesn't want any unauthorized individuals finding out what's inside. You need to find a way in. Then you look for the most highly classified piece of documentation you can possibly get your hands on. Steal it, escape, and bring it back to me. Then I'll leak whatever's on it to the wider world, as Smyrna Corp will never be able to operate a secret ever again. This might sound like suicide, but don't worry. You'll have a friend on the inside. The receptionist, Museline. She's another one of my connections, but she hasn't been able to do much alone. Plus, she's deadly afraid of getting replaced. Too afraid to make the bold moves you will. Find her and ask for help. As a fellow employee, she should have full clearance to teach you about the Hive. Make sure not to get too nosy or your microchip will go off. If that happens, she'll be overseeing your lobotomy next. The phone's distorted static worsens more and more. The warbled face upon your screen no longer looks remotely human. Then right as the image warps beyond any shred of recognition, you hear some final words of warning from your unlikely ally. Shit, I have to go. I'll contact you again as soon as I can. Just be sure to act like a good little employee or they'll snuff you out. Make sure you find the Hive, alright? Our utopia depends on it. Okay. Suddenly your screen shuts off as though the phone ran out of battery. You sit there for a few moments, hoping it might turn back on. By the time, even the dial tone fades. Check the caller ID history? Nothing there except a call you had this morning with your aunt. A predictable, if disappointing, outcome. Exhausted, you migrate to your mattress, hoping you dream a better dream than whatever this strange nightmare was. Your head hits the pillow, and a flood of night terrors washes over you. Disturbing, surreal, almost silly stuff. Like the boogers washing over this tissue. Like zombie apocalypses. Or giving speeches in class while wearing lingerie you've most certainly never worn before. It's almost a relief to witness such cartoony, simple frights after a day like this. Part of you wishes they'd go on forever, even if they're scary, and leave you stuck in a headspace where Smyrna Corp couldn't possibly exist. Yet again, you find yourself wishing you'd wake up somewhere else than this. Yet again, you wish time would ask permission before racing ahead. And yet again, the concept of reality proves to be an unkind, callous bitch. After a few brief restless hours, your alarm's familiar chirping demands you wake up. Time to clock in! Alright, the search for Mezuline. Our lovely new partner. It's been 2 weeks since you were hired, or 10 whole business days, as Mr. Brigard puts it. Feels strange to think of time in those terms now. Even stranger than the 10 days. Even stranger that 10 days is all it took for your life to change so much. Say, paycheck is a welcome relief from poverty, especially when the first one had more zeros than you expected. But you've barely had the motivation to spend a single cent of it, let alone leave the house. Your nerves are shot. You barely sleep, you're losing weight in a noticeable non-fitness journey way. Haven't seen or spoken to any friends, fearing they might have become, or always have been, doppelgangers. Every time your hand itches, you wonder if it's the borodinium finally kicking in. Oh, and you're absolutely sick of wearing black turtlenecks. You're pretty sure the cheap acrylic is giving you an armpit rash. Your sole respite from all this misery has been a brand new hobby you've picked up to stay sane. Collecting pirated video games. You can afford to buy games legally, but your goal isn't to play them. Rather, you get a transgressive rush whenever you crack a file you have no business owning, then figure out how to make it run on your piece of shit laptop. In due time, you might even use these skills to disable your microchip. More technology literacy! Now, despite the fear of replacement driving you to seek out new coping mechanisms, despite the dread that washes over you every time you step into the building, it turns out it's actually pretty easy to forget the threat of imminent doom when you're slowly dying of boredom. Outlandish decor and blood-soaked interviews aside, your first 2 weeks at Smyrna Corp were eerily uneventful. Alright, Miss Wolf Swooshy, thanks for stopping by. You haven't even worked yet, let alone been assigned a desk by whatever administrative team you're surely definitely exists. Totally. You logged away in meeting rooms, asked to peruse employee handbooks and attend seminars about workplace culture. The latter are usually hosted by overworked secretaries with better things to do than entertain new hires. Other than that, the office is abuzz with panic. People rush by without a word every time you wave hello, or seem to on the verge of killing sprees whenever coffee machines start running low. With the Radio Mink deal approaching, deadlines are tight, overwork is mandatory, and the stakes of Smirna Corp's continued future are especially high. Even with your brain reduced to a stew of secondhand stress and corporate bluster, you can't ignore the stakes you're facing. The second the ink dries on that trade deal, the world will begin drowning in a sea of obfuscation. At least, that's how Elle puts it. The stranger reached out many times since your first impromptu correspondence, asking very, very anxiously if you managed to track down Museline and prevent Armageddon. Your answer has consistently been a shameful, chagrined no. In theory, it should be easy to track down a receptionist. We haven't seen her at the front desk since the day you arrived. Maybe she's been on vacation. Maybe she's been too busy supervising prefrontal transplants to smile at visitors. Either way, you were forced to employ some less conventional strategies to track the tired-looking woman down. Yeah, we can talk to, coworkers to find out if they know anything. They would know her more than us. Your friendly disposition was sufficient to strike up conversations with overworked strangers. But turns out asking about a person's whereabouts in a place that replaces people? Bit of a taboo subject. Unless you're handled to yield in uncomfortable silences and long-winded stories of uninteresting weekends. But discouraged or embarrassed by your not-so-genius stratagem, Elle was quick to propose a foolproof alternative. Through the Corp will be hosting a free brunch at the office on Friday. I'm guessing the higher-ups want to keep their staff happy after working them to near death. Thing is, they always make these dumb events mandatory, meaning everyone has to be there, Mezzolene included. Knowing her, she won't be staying long. The girl hates crowds with a passion. Might be our only chance at getting info about how to reach the hive. So scope out the area and track her down fast. And so here you are, standing in line, plate in hand, waiting for a serving of room-temperature scramby eggs. The reception area that greeted you 2 weeks ago is barely recognizable. Its thick shadows and thicker ammonia stench has given way to the glare of heated food lamps, tinged by the cloying aroma of undercooked breakfast sausage. A small army of employees fill the lobby with a dull roar, circulating between the buffet's unappetizing trays. Third-sheet party streamers have been strung between the pillars, once unsettling sculptures, and plastered over the silver lettering of the company's engraved slogan. Mori perpetuus mutato, potato. It's no more. Now there's only congratulations. You may already be depressed, but the spelling mistake on that banner somehow makes you sadder. Understandable. Bet you an old lady snaps at you to quit hogging the goddamn serving spoon, knocking you out of your disassociated trance. Leaving the tray of eggs behind, you navigate throngs of hungry colleagues. You struggle not to spill your food as you squeeze between too many people packed together far too tightly. Mezzolene has to be here somewhere, but picking her out of this horde of identical black turtlenecks definitely won't be easy. If you're gonna find her, you're gonna need a plan. She is antisocial. Keep an eye out for someone eating alone. You're no stranger to feeling uncomfortable at social events, especially since you don't know anyone who works here other than Abuya. Identifying other folks who feel out of place shouldn't be too complicated. That was the hope, at least. But turns out we're in a mega corporation that constantly scrutinizes its workforce and punishes ineptitude with non-consensual brain surgery. Well, that tends to create a lot of loners. Yeah, then they not far. Not only are there way more people approaching... No, well, there are way more people standing apart from the crowd than you first thought, but most of them physically recoil as you approach. Some even run away, leaving a trail of bagel crumbs and honeydew rinds in their wake. Not the bagels! Oh, so you're cursing both yourself and this company's treatment of its workers. You try to think of another strategy. And that's when you finally spot her, standing right behind the corner where you had first met. No, standing right behind the counter where you'd first met. God, I can't read. Just below the eye-catching congratulations banner. Sickly pale, sickly smiled woman stands, her hair tied in a dainty bun. Her fork picks at a half-empty plate of grapefruit slices and baked beans. While her baggy eyes scan the reception room, perhaps hoping to spot a certain someone. Could she be looking for you? You cross your fingers, hoping her gaze will meet yours by magic. Unfortunately, your life is rather far removed from the convenient tropes of a C-grade romantic comedy. Rather notice you standing on your tiptoes and relentlessly waving. Messaline breathes a defeated sigh, her forced smile facade faltering for an instant. Head on low and a subpar breakfast in hand, she begs for a nearby elevator, poised to leave the room for good. Shit, she's getting away! You sprint ahead to try and stop her, but she's already stepped into the lift and begun pressing buttons. You won't make it before the door closes, but you need to do something. I do not want to break the elevator. I'll just call her out. Public embarrassment is a small price to pay for the preservation of free will. You take a deep breath, fill your lungs bursting with breakfast-scented air, hold it as long as you can, and bellow a thunderous, Mazzolene! Your voice cracks into a sweet cartoon parody of its former self before trailing into a rasping cough. Blech. The name which caught your lip still rings out louder than an erupting volcano. The reception room explodes with gasps and stifled curses. Maid brunchers dropping their plates, leaving bacon grease ceramic shards scattered across the floor. Messaline flinches much the same, too busy clutching her chest with the desperation of a triple cardiac bypass survivor to even consider leaving anymore. Hopefully her heart won't burst out of her chest before you can actually talk to her. Catching your breath and trotting towards the elevator, you wheeze a quiet apology to your scowling onlookers. They don't regard you with universal disgust. They're quick to return to their private conversations or their respective bacon strips. Bacon strips. Bacon strips. More bacon strips. The receptionist's exhausted eyes light up as you approach. For the briefest moment, her fake smile turns to genuine joy, and then to genuine annoyance. Finally, I was beginning to think I never track you down. Where have you been hiding? Mr. Bigard said you've been coming to the office, but I couldn't find you anywhere. I've been hounding the coffee machines like some bean juice junkie, asking everyone I met if they'd seen the new intern. You have any idea what kind of looks I was getting for asking a question like that somewhere like this? Well, good to know you're not the only one whose search attempts were a flop. It's a relief to see Sage Sane's behaving like a real person for once. Despite her berating, there is an undercurrent of implicit trust to her flustered frustration. An earnestness that could get her replaced were it shown to the wrong colleague. Now, I've been trying to look for you too, girl. You confess your own consistent screw-ups, which reassures the receptionist. Nothing like mutually assured stupidity to boost one's crumbling confidence. Yeah, that's why people watch VTubers. I kid, you're all as smart as me. Then, as if suddenly remembering where she is, Mezzoline's mask-like smile stretches across her face once more. Well, regardless, I'm quite pleased to see you've officially joined Finnegan family. You see, there's a collaborative task I need your help with. One that external clients specially requested we both complete in preparation for the upcoming partnership deadline. Do you understand what I'm saying? The woman's speaking in code. Communicating through such secretive means might be the only way to openly discuss Elle's plan. What are your microchips, trees, and sensors? Almost your village, but welcome, how you doing? Well, we got the job. It's just that if we fuck up the job, we'll be killed or replaced as a doppelganger. Yay! Oh, we also have a chip in our hand that will poison us if we think of betraying them. Yay! Oh, I've been doing a taffy voice for a long time. I should turn that off. Why did no one tell me to turn off the taffy voice?
Okay, I'll be Taffy a little bit longer, but I should have turned that off sooner. That doesn't make you feel better?
I'm saying you're as smart as me. I got a master's degree. I'm super smart.
You give Mezzaline a firm nod. The woman smiles harder, glancing about to make sure no one is listening. The employees seem too enraptured by their free meals to care. Yeah, it's like at least it pays. Glad to know I can count on your cooperation. In order to succeed, this task will require us to both have access to the nursery department. That's the official name for what us colleagues refer to as the hive. We like to have fun around here, you see. Giving things funny names like that. What's the degree in? Being smart. Hunterology. The hard woman's forced laugh sounds fake enough to freeze your blood. Your heart suddenly feels like it's struggling to pump ice cubes through your veins. Now, the nursery department is a restricted area. That means special employee clearance is necessary to access it. I already possess said clearance, and I've put in a special request to give you that clearance too. But from what I hear, it's been refused twice for some reason. That's about right, good. I'm afraid you'll have to blame me for that, my dear. The ice cubes chugging through your bloodstream harden into a single iceberg as the suffocating shadow looms over you both. Mezzaline's smile wavers as she beholds the horror of what now stands behind you. A beaming, earnest, pure white smile. Oh dear, terribly rude of me to intrude on your conversation unprompted, wasn't it? You have my sincerest apologies. I was investigating a disturbance report when I happened to overhear Miss Saint Sains mention your troublesome little certification dossier. Mea culpa for indulging my curiosity unprompted. The behemoth's booming laughter would almost be contagious if it weren't for his unblinking blue eyes. They bore into his skull and spirit as if searching for every secret your puny mind hasn't dared to hide from him. In a desperate bid to blend in, Mezzaline fakes more laughter in response to Begards, but you're too scared to do the same. After all, the way the giant clamps a hand on your shoulder, squeezing like a bear trap biting off a rabbit's leg, makes it rather obvious who the disturbance really is. Do glasses work on here? Let me check. Do I have a glasses toggle for this? I'm not sure. Like, I was trying to check my stream deck. Let me see if I put it. Let's see, I've got hearts, I got sparkles, pencil. Did I put glasses? Yes, the glasses work. Okay. It was all the way at the bottom. That's why I couldn't see it. The glasses work with this model. You spooked quite a few people by shouting like that, you know.
There you go. I get glasses. Yeah.
Alright, rest well, Doom Guy. Thanks for stopping by. Where was I? Oh yeah. There's no outright rule against high-volume speeches office, but we here at Smyrna Corp expect our staffers to abide by an unspoken code of conduct in a workplace. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah, go weep. You stammer out some awkward cocktail of convoluted circumstances and dramatic guilt, praying it'll be enough to avoid Obuya's wrath. His bassy chuckle intensifies as he waves away your fear. No need to panic. Mistakes are only human. And we're nothing if not a
human-driven company. Now, let's just mark this down as a strike one and put the incident behind us, shall we? What do you mean strike one? Okay, is he going to glaze over the whole strike one business? Because that sounds like a major reason to panic. However, as if sensing your impending hyperventilation, Mezzaline quickly intervenes. Sir, if you don't mind my asking, what's all this about refusing their dossier? I didn't make a mistake writing the application, did I? Heavens, no! Your paperwork is always perfect, my dear. A work of art whose precision rivals this building's own architecture. No, I'm afraid the matter of our new hire's clearance is a smidge more complicated. Believe it or not, our little prodigy here earned themselves an astounding entrance evaluation score, the kind of display even our most seasoned veterans would struggle to provide. Thus, I have supervisors in every corner of our office begging to have this new hire assigned to their department. In the interest of fairness, I've decided to indulge their requests simultaneously, all while giving our recently recruited star player a chance to peruse their own professional preferences. Placing his enormous hand mere inches from the tip of your nose, Obuya begins unfurling his bratwurst thick figures. You get the impression he's about to crush your skull like an overripe grape. Instead, he begins enumerating a series of names. Encryptology, future-proofing, evaporation, substitution. Over the course of the following days, I want you to shadow the head of each of these departments and perform a few tasks according to their prerogatives. If your performance is acceptable, supervisors have been instructed to provide a certification certificate to endorse your merit. Once you've gathered all 4 certifications, you will be given unrestricted access to the nursery department. Or, as some people call it, the hive. So I have to go through a fucking test to get into the fucking hive. Great. That's just a playful little pseudonym, of course. We like to have fun around here, you see. Everything's funny names and such. Don't we, Miss 88? The Phoebus nudges his pale-faced worker in the ribs with a jolly chortle. Mesley responds with a well-rehearsed artificial cackle, flashing you a half-apologetic, half-terrified look. Girl, blink twice if you need help. Seems like she has no power to contest this decision. You're stuck between a rock and a report card-shaped hard place. Plain old laziness. Understood, I'll satisfy the department's needs as soon as possible. How do I get plain old laziness? Probably in the very beginning. There's a major hitch in your plans, and time isn't on your side, but sheer determination has a way of letting you accomplish crazy things. With a courageous nod, you vow to gather every certificate before the Radiant Partnership is made official. Ah, that's the spirit. I knew that impressive moxie of yours wouldn't let me down. I leave you the liberty of tackling these certifications in whichever order you please. Miss St. Sains will be able to fill you in on each department's specific works. However, she'll need to do so at a later date. Almost perfectly on cue, Regard's elegant gold watch begins beeping like a bomb's countdown timer. You're pretty sure most timepieces of such refined design don't come with inbuilt alarms. But you've learned better than the question Spirit Corp's convoluted tastes in custom-made tech. My apologies, but duty calls. We have quite a few replacement procedures to complete today. Some poor sod sent the wrong file to the wrong news outlet, and now there's a dozen reporters in need of urgent brain surgery. Oh god. We need to cut corners in order to meet quota, but oh well, sometimes friends and family members are better off forgotten, especially when you work as an investigative journalist. Shall we get on with our day, Miss St. Sains? The sickly pale woman gives a curt nod, trying to keep pace with the behemoth's strides. She flashes you a concerned look from behind her taunt masked smile, begging you to stop her from having to do this, begging you to hurry up and complete this task before she has to do it again. The best you could do is smile back and mouth a silent promise not to fail. As Abuya boards the elevator with St. Sains at his side, his eyebrows suddenly quirk with remembrance. Oh, before I forget, I just want to remind you that we're on a tight deadline, what with Radio Mink about the time. You'll need to start the certification process next week and earn 1 department certificate per day. Otherwise, I'll be forced to postpone your nursery department access until after the contract officially goes through.
Yeah, they are cute glasses.
In other words, be sure not to stay up too late tampering with all those ill-gotten computer games. You'll be needing plenty of beauty sleep in order to perform your best. Of course he fucking knows about my computer games. Man lets out a booming chuckle but doesn't even blink. His eyes remain transfixed with yours, as though seeing through your false politeness. Or you could ask yourself how the man knows what you do in your free time to grill each door snapped shut. Enjoy the rest of your breakfast! Oh boy. Both the giant and the lift plunge out of your sight, taking Mesley with them. All that remains in their absence is the waft of scrambled eggs and the countless staffers who crave them. The Monday!
Monday, Monday, Monday.
Your post-brunch Monday morning comes far, far too soon. The unrelaxing weekend passed you by in less than a blink, and you know exactly why. The countdown to the end of the world has officially begun, and the chronometer is ticking down very, very quickly. As if Mondays weren't depressing enough already, there's not nearly enough Xanax left on Earth to treat whatever misery assails you today. That said, you don't let it discourage you. I'll agree that the circumstances are far from ideal, but they did insist that the end of all free thought can still be prevented. Not much of an endorsement, but better than nothing. You arrive at the office bright and early, relieved to see brunch trays and banners removed from the reception area. The room's bleak Art Deco majesty is mildly undermined by the lingering smell of subpar bacon that the ammonia cleaner has failed to wash out. You head toward the elevators, consulting nearby map, which lists codes to access each floor. Names of Smyrna Corp's departments have been listed next to each one. In cryptology, future-proofing, evaporation, substitution, and of course, the ever-inscrutable nursery. You'll need to collect all 4 certificates to find out why it's called the Hive. And you'll need to get it done in 4 days or less. After all, the Radiant Being partnership is scheduled to be signed next Monday. Past that point, it'll be too late for Elle to leak Smyrna Corp's data to the world. That doesn't leave you a lot of wiggle room. Plus, even though Melusine will be more than willing to expedite the substitution certification process, you have no idea what to expect from the other supervisors. Well, only one way to find out. Take a deep breath, you pick your first battle in the war for certification. Where will you go? Yeah, let's go to evaporation first. It's like, what's evaporation? Despite following the building map's directions, finding a evaporation department is no easy feat. There are so many unmarked doorways and twisting concrete walls standing between you and your destination. Yeah, it's probably something horrifying. You almost get the impression the place has been quarantined from the rest of Smyrna Corp. Yeah, evaporation of unproductive assets. Yeah. Alright, let me turn back now. I've been taffy for quite a while. And then I gotta take off the sticky note. Okay. Everything should be back to normal. Or so I thought. I was like a relative living in a retirement home no one wants to visit. And much like a retirement home, you soon discover a closed-off area that feels old, empty, and reminiscent of a boring tomb. It's a small room designed to resemble the waiting area of a doctor's office. No girl, only fox. Okay, fine. Yeah, waiting area of a doctor's office, albeit one that hasn't seen any patients or renovations in a couple decades. Weirder still, is everything from the decor to the ambience doesn't just feel out of place to you. The rest of this office's eldritch, outlandish sensibilities. Why is my nose so stuffy? Okay.
Ugly furniture. Baby blue felt sofas, discolored by age and disuse, are surrounded by asymmetric coffee tables made from solid plastic. Even an impoverished college student would find these pieces too trashy to pick up from the curb. Curb. Potted plants. Ferns, bonsai, and what once were flowers have all wilted into brown paper dry husks. Include the artificial ones somehow. Their dead hues blend in with the room's boring beige paint job. And ugly magazines. Clumsily crammed into rusting racks, most of the kid-looking cover pages are too worn with age to be legible. A few exceptions are written in foreign alphabets you've never seen before. The only thing that fits Corp's usual aesthetics are the myriad monochrome photographs framed upon the unflattering beige walls. Each one depicts some important-looking politician with some indistinguishable nation, shaking hands with one or more middle-class representatives. And even if their eye hadn't been scrubbed out by streaks of black marker, you doubt you recognize a single person in these portraits. Oh no, you're struck by an odd sense of peace. The kind you get when visiting museums or old buildings said to be demolished. A sad depersonalized nostalgia for a place you've never visited, an area you never lived in, that somehow feels as precious as a childhood memory. Hoping for some guidance regarding your certification, you approach a toll booth-shaped alcove built into the wall, likely a desk where secretaries would have normally greeted visitors. Unfortunately, it's completely empty, save for a rusted typewriter and a handwritten note congratulating someone on their recent retirement. Wiping away a layer of dust thicker than cake frosting, you notice the note was dated January 2005. Oh boy. Well, this isn't a promising start. How are you supposed to earn a certificate from a department that's been abandoned for years? As you rack your brain for answers, you finally hear it. The faintest hint of a man's groaning voice. You strain yourself to listen closer and isolate the noise's source. Your ears eventually lure you to a half-open metal door, upon which hangs a cardboard sign inscribed with ominous words. Evaporation in progress. Do not disturb. A warning, obviously. But in your case, perhaps it would be a dangerous invitation. Follow. The door lets out a low-toned wail, grinding against rusted hinges. You tiptoe in, walking down a lightless hall that leads to a bright, open room. The further you go, the louder the groaning man's voice becomes. And the room ahead is akin to an asylum's padded cell. Its claustrophobic floors, walls, and ceilings are all plastered in thick sepia carpeting, spotted with dark stains that even Corp's ammonia cleaner couldn't wash away. An array of other decorative details immediately jump out at you, from the large steel lockers set in each corner to the old ergonomic dentist chair, painted a hideous shade of turquoise. But it's hard to take in everything when the middle-aged man sitting in that chair is waving you a chipper hello. Hey there! You here to help with my procedure? Theodore Radruzinski. No. Theodore Zadruzinski. What did I say? Theodore Zadruzinski. Close enough. One of Kuroka's clients has a killer smile, but in a biological warfare kind of way. Wow, he actually looks happy. Like, genuinely happy. You're not used to that around here. What's more, he's actually wearing something other than a stupid black turtleneck. And his eyes are bright with excitement rather than dull with exhaustion. No way in hell is this an employee. Could he be a customer? When you open your mouth to ask the question, you're left gagging on the stranger's ungodly breath, hitting you from 10 paces away. A smell like warm, rotting eggs assaults your now stinging nostrils. The stench thicker than subtropical summer air.
Alright, rest well, Bucky. Thanks for stopping by.
A bile churls in your stomach, like sour milk turning to sour cheese. You notice the man's proudly bared teeth are as gnarled and putrid brown as clumps of termite-nibbled wood. Pull back an urge to dry heave and look away from that rancid dentistry. Only see another man standing right behind you, his glare sharp as scalpel blades. In his hand dangles a bundle of long Kevlar straps and a gruesome-looking contraption made from jagged, blood-slicked steel. Kazuo Kuroka, Evaporation Department Supervisor, moves without making a sound and has eyes like cold steel. Who are you? And what are you doing here? Answer me now. The old man is short, yet you shrink back from him, and as though towered over by someone taller than Burgard. Despite his many wrinkles, age has failed to weigh him down. His shoulders are straight, his posture alert. The tone of his voice is harder than quenched steel, much like the metal that must have carved the features of his angular face. Hidden beneath his lab coat, you make out a rusty name tag pinned to his black uniform. Kazuo Kuroka, Senior Evaporation Supervisor. Mr. Kuroka? Is something wrong? Not yet, Tenor. Please remain seated. Now, I need you to understand something, trespasser. Mr. Zadrudinsky requested that his evaporation procedure occur with minimal outside interference. So why, pray tell, did you enter this room despite the sign outside specifically requesting you not to? Honestly, you're wondering the same thing. The Kevlar belts as his fists sway with like pendulums. As knuckles whiten as his grip tightens, you sense he might be warming up to swing them at your head. Very diffuse the situation. Something in the man's cold stare assures you he's not afraid to use violence, whether as a first or last resort. I came here for my certification, dude. The fate of the free world is in your hands, and time is running out. Threats like this won't scare you, not when you need that evaporation certificate. Either offended or impressed by your courage, the stiff-faced supervisor's harsh stance softens. Ah, you must be the one Obuya spoke of. I'm surprised he wasn't lying about bringing new blood to our department. We have had no company recruits assigned here since the restructuring in '99. Well, you'll have to excuse my prior hostility, but you'll also have to excuse my current unavailability. I'm in no position to be supervising your initiation, let alone your certification. As I'm sure you can tell, we're incredibly short-staffed, and Mr. Zadrudinsky can't exactly evaporate himself. Taking his technician's words, the rotten-toothed man gives a polite wave, no doubt impatient to undergo evaporation. Kazuo, meanwhile, waves you toward the door, no doubt impatient for you to leave and come back next week. Considering what's at stake, you can't afford that kind of setback. Standing firm despite budding anxiety, you insist that your certification needs to be done today. Domo Road Dog, welcome, how you doing? It doesn't matter if you had to wait until Theodore's procedure is finished, or sit back and watch Kazuo perform every grueling step of it. One way or another, you will get what you need. With a deep sigh, the old man's stark figure seems to deflate. Your arguments must have been sufficiently convincing, or sufficiently pathetic, for him to try hearing you out. Very well. I suppose indulging a single onlooker wouldn't be so unreasonable a request. That being said, I must insist that my client's procedure remain the utmost priority. And I won't just hand out certificates to someone who sits back and watches, or relies strictly on theoretical knowledge. I need to witness some resolve, befitting of the responsibilities inherent to our department. Which is why you'll be getting your hands dirty, and completing this evaporation procedure with me. Dirty. You definitely didn't like the way he emphasized the word dirty. At least you've convinced them. Theodore, for his part, looks overjoyed at the prospect of being used as an example. He claps and squeals like a preteen about to watch their favorite boy band play a live encore. Oh, this is exciting! Now I won't be the only one doing this for the first time. It will also be your last time. Do not forget, our business rapport must remain temporary. Now then, new blood, make yourself useful while I finish Mr. Zarodzinski's preparations. Theodore is such a happy man, we can all learn from. Yeah. Please receive the briefcase containing Theodore's case file and the pair of flyers on the bottom shelf of the cabinet. The combination lock's passcode is 7862. 7862. Old man may not have threatened you, but his tone is firm and cold enough to make you sprint towards the locker. Sure enough, the stainless steel door has been sealed behind an unusually shaped, vertically aligned combination lock. Though small enough to fit in the palm of your hand, is surprisingly heavy and appears dense enough to withstand high-caliber rifles. Thankfully, its myriad buttons offer a much simpler means of entry. Easy. Mechanisms inside the device snap into place with satisfying clicks, and the padlock hits the ground, but as the door, its sealed, creaks open, you wish it had remained closed. Inside the locker rests an assortment of ghastly tools, chipped and scratched by overuse. Manacles with inch-thick chains, blow torches of all shapes and sizes, straight razors with Damascus-forged blades, brown glass bottles filled with chemicals, their labels worn down to illegible scriptures of ingredients and side effects. The only thing you can't see is a single speck of dust, probably because these tools see action far too often for any to accumulate. Please do not leave fingerprints anywhere inconvenient. Leave only the items I requested. The old supervisor barks his directives over the sound of shuffling Kevlar straps and fastening buckles, punctuated by Theodore's nervous chuckling. You reach for the metal briefcase on the bottom shelf. A clasp secured by the same unwieldy padlock as the door that protected it. A wave of relief washes over you as you notice a pair of simple channel lock pliers lying on top of it, which look downright dinky next to the gruesome tools above. Odds are Kuso only needs them to adjust a screw or something. Right. A screw loosed. What exactly is going on? So we basically got a job that's basically, involves, replacing people and doing, lobotomies and stuff. But, we teamed up with this guy named Al to try and shut the place down, but we need to get, certification first to even get to the place we want to go to for information, so right now we're just helping this guy to get our certification. Which probably requires a lobotomy. Hello, robotic ape, welcome. Yes, behold my cute kawaii fox form. I am so small and squishy I can fit in your pocket. But don't squeeze me too hard, I'll poop. Fortunately, the second you turn around, you no longer believe the convenient lie. The guy seems thrilled to get one at least. Yeah. Well, I don't know what the evaporation room does. It's just that when we did our interview, we got to watch a whole ass lobotomy happen. It was pretty great. And by great, I mean terrible. The ever-enthusiastic Theodore's smile has been warped by mounting dread. As Kazuo finishes strapping his limbs and neck to the dentistry chair. His chest rises and falls with deep, fearful breaths. His twinkling eyes now focus on the pliers and you're now shaking hands. Kuroka, meanwhile, unfolds the metal device he was clutching before. Appears to be a cage-like contraption made of steel wires and jagged braces, vaguely shaped like the inside of a human mouth. What kind of saw shit is this? You're familiar enough with medical devices to recognize it as an outdated, horrific variation of a mandibular splint. A tool sometimes used by dental professionals to hold a patient's jaws open during oral surgery. Then, with a lackadaisical expression, the old man nods your way and makes a simple, stomach-churning inquiry. Would you rather hold his head or pull his teeth? Theodore's grin grows wider, savoring his last smile. He's testing me. I'll pull his teeth. I'll be manly about it. I need that certification. Kazuo did mention resolve was a key factor for evaporation certification, so you might as well make yourself feel confident to improve your odds. After all, he's not really going to make you torture this guy. Right? I suspect you've underestimated the importance and intensity of our department's responsibilities. As you may have learned during orienteering, our department handles the
physical intervention components of replacement procedures. This could mean abducting high priority targets, securing volatile assets, or even assassinating potential nuances. Relatively standard liquidation procedures, really.
Akinakama.
Our true goal is much simpler and more compassionate, however. Furthermore, it actually predates MiraCorp's reconfiguration into a corporate entity. The supervisor gestures to customer, who seems utterly unperturbed by your conversation or a state of belted bondage. If anything, he mostly seems to be wondering why I haven't started yet. Nuisance? Did I say it wrong? I don't know. And it's like, this guy's ready to go. There are people in this world for whom society is a prison, be it due to caste, criminal history, marital dissatisfaction, or financial status. Many seek to escape their fate and start over with a clean slate. To embrace the right to be forgotten in a world that is always keeping track of everything we've ever done. From innocuous pictures on social media to birth certificates or social security numbers. In other words, this department does not only dispose of company enemies, it also performs procedures necessary to erase willing participants from their current lives, ensuring they remain untraceable by eliminating all possible evidence of their existence from the world. And sometimes that involves removing a client's teeth so that no one can track them down with dental records we failed to delete.
Komitesimu.
Uh-oh. Come on, throat. Let's get through this section. Unfortunately, as you may have guessed by the state of his molars, Theodore suffers grave physiological trauma relative to invasive buccal procedures. Hence, despite his extreme willingness to undergo full evaporation, I anticipate the process will be rather difficult. Yeah, he's right, you know. Me and Dad just do not get along, so I'm probably gonna squirm an awful lot. Well, the middle-aged customer is smiling. His nails have sunk into the chair's armrest, already braced for pain. Cold sweat thicker than hair gel slicks down his unkempt beard and makes his forehead glisten like a funhouse mirror. A shiver runs through your body, though you cannot tell what scares you more. The fact that you might be forced to subject someone to atrocity, or the fact that someone will suffer it so enthusiastically. The average human being has 32 teeth. The fact that Theodores are rotten might make them easier to remove, but that's still a lot of slow, deliberate violence to inflict on another person. And even if you're strong enough to remove every single one, there's no promise you could stomach so much cruelty without passing out. Besides, even if the fate of the world depends on this evaporation certificate, can you really go through with this? The department's stoic supervisor stares you down, awaiting the answer to that question. Just get it done! Your blood goes cold. Your hands are sweating. Knees weak, arms heavy. You're sweating as much as Theodore. But if this is your only chance to take down Smyrna Corp, doing the impossible is a small price to pay. Though Kuzo's expression remains impassive, you get the sense he might be smiling. Glad I can count on your cooperation. Smyrna Corp would be a far kinder place if more people had your breed of compassionate courage. The old man gestures some paperwork pinned to a corkboard on the wall. Rather than pins or thumbtacks, the company-issued forms are held in place with bladed weapons ranging from unfurled butterfly knives to triple-pronged medical instruments. I'll be sorting through my latest reports. Let me know if you have questions, or signal me once you've already begun. Feel free to converse with Mr. Zadrudzinski, or peruse this case file as well. Perhaps you might unearth information that could aid our coming process. And with that, the stoic supervisor's gone, leaving Theodore strapped to the dental chair, unable to escape. His blank eyes dart from side to side, his happy smile growing a bit anxious. What now? Good question. Let's look at the case file.
Knowledge is power. And you specifically want the power to not pull a man teeth out. There's a chance this case file only contains tips about how to better butcher Theodore's maw, or really invasive trivia about his private life. But you'll take what you can get. The cold briefcase is surprisingly heavy. Yeah, enjoy your dream streak. Even though it contains only paper. The file Kazuo mentioned before must be borderline encyclopedic. No way to tell for sure, though. The case itself is armor-plated, reinforced to deter unwanted intrusions. Its hefty combination lock appears to be unsaleable as the one that kept the locker barred. No way a weakling like you could open a stake with brute force alone, not without an instructional grade jackhammer anyway. Skeleton key? Alright, take a closer look at the start fiddling. 4-digit password with 10 possible numbers to choose from as a total of 10,000 possible combinations. You'll either need to be very lucky or very informed to get this thing open. Crack your knuckles, you prepare to find out which of those apply to you. Damn. It's like, I don't know the password, though. After typing in your attempted password, the padlock suddenly begins emitting an ominous ticking sound. I did! I put it in and it didn't work. It was for the door, not this. Figuring that you triggered some sort of self-destructive cut down, you press the buttons in a panic, hoping to stop the process, but all of them become completely unresponsive. Not a bomb then, just a lockout timer, meant to discourage ambitious burglars. I think it's wiser to look for clues, otherwise you could end up wasting hours trying to crack this thing open. If that happens, well, let's just say it'll be like pulling teeth. I need to go find the code. Yeah, pointless without a portion of the password pre-deciphered. You're better to leave a look at it or at least conceive a sounder strategy. Or you better do it fast. That's what looks impatient. It won't wait forever. Ask him about it. Like, let's do some inquiring. Criticorp prioritizes convert operations and employees who perform their grisly work with unquestioning, unfeeling obedience. Kazuo, meanwhile, genuinely cares about his job and the people affected by it. Hard to tell if that's comforting when so many of those people end up dead. You tiptoe toward the assassin, careful not to make a sound. Cold sweat trickles down your face as you watch him absentmindedly twirl a butterfly knife, stepping apart a piece of paperwork like an automatic shredder. Sensing your approach, he abruptly about faces, snatching the scraps of paper midair and stuffing them down in his lab coat pocket. Still swirling his weapon about, he stares you down, eyes passive yet impatient. Something you were curious about, or are you ready to get started? Transfixed by the still swirling dagger, you swallow hard, tugging at your turtleneck's tail collar. Hope your questions don't make this stone cold killer want to cut you instead. What about the thing? Yeah, how do I unlock the briefcase? Your attempts at cracking the code have gotten you nowhere. Despite Kazuo insisting that the case file within it contains information relevant to procedure, he seems rather reluctant to help you open it. I'm afraid I cannot answer that. New blood. I did not choose the lock's password. Theodore did. Oh, I have to ask Theodore. Okay. And I would sooner commit self-decapitation than betray my client's right to secrecy, even in such a minor way. If you really need to access this file, I suggest you engage in conversation with the man in question and pay careful attention to his words. You'll learn a valuable lesson about compassion in the process, because only those who truly care about evaporation deserve my certification. Well, so much for that. Gonna be off guard making talk with a stranger you could soon be mutilating, but better to learn about your victim before you hurt him. You're lucky you leave it on Earth a clue that can keep you from performing this torturous procedure. Yeah, do you intend to just sit there? Any more questions? Tell me about yourself. How do you become a corporate hitman? Asking coworkers how they got their jobs is usually less dramatic. Upon hearing your question, Kazuo's narrow eyes thin themselves into rather harsher slits. Their glare sharper than any weapon he's pinned to the nearby wall. Hitman, corporate, don't insult me, new blood. I may be a contract killer by circumstance, but I remain a humanitarian at heart. I do so in spite of capitalist animals who corrupted what SmearCorp used to be. Only its cold anger feels like a corroded wire pressed against your neck. Scared and struggling to breathe, he babbled out incoherent apologies, unsure what sparked such sudden hatred. Noticing her confusion, Kuroka lets out a deep door sigh. Was that sour? Soon his eyes are no longer sharp with anger, but appeared dulled by melancholic nostalgia. In my home country, there are those we refer to as yohatsu, people who pay private companies to vanish from society without a trace, hoping to begin a new existence freed from the burdens of old.
All right, thanks for stopping by, Kiwi. You rest well.
Jongo Pisana.
Sometimes they are office workers escaping a business that will overwork them to death. Others are merely criminals wishing to wipe the record clean of their younger selves' past sins. More merely hopeless souls looking to commit suicide without making their families realize love was insufficient. Thousands of us are reported missing every year, and not just because of Smyrna Corp. Thousands of us? Does he mean...
Prometissimo.
Indeed, decades ago I sacrificed my career and dignity to become Yohatsu, and it was the best decision my past self ever made.
Wagagonmo.
No longer was I trapped working for a cause I couldn't believe in. No longer was I shackled to a lover I did not care for. No longer did I practice tying knots to hang myself in our kitchen. I could simply be what I want to be without the burden of expectation. And more than anything, I wanted to become the kind of person who could provide the same fresh start those evaporators had provided me.
Omano mokumo.
That is why I enrolled as a member of Gertrude Borodine's Humane Society, the original Smyrna Corp. Gertrude Borodine. Yeah. That's right, the pamphlet you read before your interview mentioned something about that. Though the last few weeks have made it increasingly hard to believe that this company ever had good intentions. Assuming you could even call this whole Yohatsu business good either. Maybe you should learn more about this Borodine person. Yeah, it's like, what is it? Though he made skeptical about this Gertrude woman's selfish intentions, it's hard to deny just how fondly Kazuo regards his former leader's mission, nor how tainted he thinks her legacy has become.
Omano mokumo.
Miss Borodine was a woman of tremendous vision and boundless compassion. Her actions were not guided by bottom line, nor by potential control of the world, and that made all the difference. In her eyes, humanity's increasing reliance upon technology could compromise the concept individual privacy, which in turn transformed the components of citizen identity into assets ripe for exploitation, a foe that could not be vanquished with scientific advancement alone.
Buki amate.
To that end, she created the Smyrna Society, an organization dedicated to preserving human freedom and access to non-digitized information, a haven against the obfuscation of an increasingly post-truth world. Gertrude strove to provide evaporation services to people seeking better lives. To preserve historical information certain governments would see forgotten, and we, her followers, were glad to serve that ambition. An unexpected smile blossomed across Kazuo's brightening face, his hard features softening into those of a man less accustomed to violence. His eyes drift towards the name tag pinned to his lab coat, saying its angelic art deco design. His smile wilts as he remembers what it used to be like, what it used to represent.
Kemojasoku.
Sadly, the operating costs for such a complex, rapidly expanding organization ballooned at incomprehensible speeds. Soon we had no choice but to explore private venue streams to sustain our operations. And as our clientele grew, so did our mission statement grow increasingly unrecognizable. We began evaporating rebellious individuals against their consent, rewriting knowledge we once safeguarded to whitewash dark chapters of history, raising replacements inside laboratories to pursue profitability over humanity. A defilement of everything the Smyrna Society once stood for.
Akinakama.
Gertrude no longer held the reins of her creation. Nor did anyone else, really. The damage done to humanity was already too great, and those in positions of leadership grew too avaricious to consider salvaging what remained. Thus, rather than remain partisan to a now monstrous initiative, Borodine and her followers chose to evaporate themselves. They wished to be forgotten by history for the crimes they committed against it.
Prometissimo.
Only I remain now, trying to provide what little compassion I can while working within a company that craves control above all else. One might call my endeavor foolish, since I still abide by Smear the Corp's directives. But I would rather commit great evil for the sake of good than sit back and do neither, as I had in my past life.
Jeez, no wonder he felt so strongly about maintaining empathy in his line of work. Though you're not sure to agree with Kuroka's methods, it's hard not to admire his dedication, nor to pity his lost cause. In fact, you've noticed a martyr-like trend of self-loathing in the way he speaks, the kind often found in gifted children who are bullied by their peers before suddenly being exposed to intellectual obstacles they cannot overcome through talent alone. It's possible Kuroka sees himself as the last bastion of Borodin's original mission. And to fulfill this duty, he's become predisposed to unnecessary excessive measures, primarily intended to prove his own devotion to himself. But if you find a better way to embody Borodin's principles, you might be able to talk him out of pulling Theodore's teeth. Hmm. Can I learn more about Gertrude? Kazuo looks hesitant, then reaches beneath his lab coat, retrieving a sheet of time-yellowed paper. Looks like papyrus from ancient Egypt on the verge of becoming dust. He tells you to destroy the document after reading it, nothing else. The contents must be rather controversial. Oh. The Erasure Manifesto. Yo! Girl wrote a manifesto! Girl boss! Gatekeep! Erasure! We are living in an era where everything is flowing out of the self. It's become impossible to gather it again. Our beings unravel in fiber optic webs and dissolve into satellite waves. We make ourselves in web searches and digital exchanges and secrets transmitted on every messaging app. And stared at our screens, we no longer belong to ourselves. Our memories are owned by social media. Our ideas, the chattel of chatbots, our fantasies submitted to porn sites, our fears to online forums, our heart rates to fitness apps, dating AI bots, numberless logs in the cloud, endlessly updating ourselves again and again and again. We offer ourselves up, dismembered, sold on a platter of rare earth materials. With every click, far-off artificial intelligences plumb us more deeply than we can ever know ourselves. Before butchering us into thousands of data points, we say, my computer is me, but it is the machine that has taken us over, and not the other way around. As usual, when they laid the bomb in our cupped palms, we clicked, I agree. Yeah, we didn't read those terms and services. How glorious that bygone age, when we send messages on VHS and cut up the magnetic tape with the confetti after viewing. The time when alchemists dreamed up secret code words. When a book could burn without a backup copy sitting on a server farm in Nunavik. How troubling it is to hack our governments when the Voynich manuscript encrypted in the 15th century remains impenetrable. Let us dream of a day when secrecy becomes possible once more. How rich was the potential in an age where our ideas could simply die out. A time when we were merely human animals whose vocal communications become inaudible at a distance of more than a few meters. The danger of writing, the Greeks tell us, is that we lose the faculty of memory. To externalize it is to fracture. To externalize is to go astray. Your secrets are your greatest truth. These are the greatest parts that make me, a shimmering landscape that no one else has beheld, a desire lodged at the base of my throat, my heart's rhythm, an idea too slippery to be articulated, the nimbleness of my hands escaping for good from the memory headset. I am what I hold in silence. I am the blank space between lines. I am the silence of an angel passing overhead. I am my own decoupling. Repeat after me. Let us disappear. No pleasure is more thrilling. Let us seek with callous feet the country that is not found on any interactive map, where even the she-bears awake out of sight of the camera's eye. Let us tell no one. Let us plunge into solitary danger, where everything is strange and eludes our grasp, too hazy to be described or labeled. Is this a forest or is it our innermost self? I was just sitting here thinking for a second. I was like, I wonder if Elle's connected to Gertrude somehow. It does not matter. Disappear into it. Cancel our accounts. Toss away our devices. Say nothing meaningful, for it is
in self-erasure that we take solid form. In keeping silence, we exist. Listen. To whoever finds this message. The original version of this manifesto was found carved in an aspen's tree trunk in a forest near Tartu, Estonia. Don't worry about it, Cosmic. There's a lot going on. The first step towards escaping their surveillance is to memorize the manifesto. Do not forget one single word. Above all, do not write anything down. Do not record it anywhere. The manifesto must exist nowhere, save inside your body, the sole medium you could trust. Be free now. Kazuo Kuroka. Okay. Okay. As I come back to this later... You both need a braver. Let's end the conversation here for now. It's like, can I like save and quit? How do I don't know how this game checkpoints. Let me find out the hard way. He could be a potential ally, absolutely. But it's like, it's starting to get a little late. So that's why it's like, I want to see... Okay, if I end the game, and then I boot it up again, where does it put me? I'm doing that all. Okay, it literally puts me out right back here. Okay, perfect. Perfect. It checkpoints with every decision. Okay. Cool. All right, so we'll leave it there. Okay. It's like we'll figure out what to do with Theodore later. All right, thank you all so much for coming. Thanks again for all the bits and subs and all that good stuff. Whether you were here the whole time or for just a little bit, I appreciate you, as always. Yeah, it's like, we'll pull out his teeth next time. I see someone's playing Little Goody Two Shoes.
Oh, thanks for the 100 biddies, Road Dog. I much. Thank you.
Yeah, so Saturday we'll resume Little Witch in the Woods. So we'll probably pick up on this Tuesday. And then I'll be like, wait, what was I doing? It's like, I was gonna raid for Two Shoes. So yeah. Yeah. We're good. We know we are on the same page. Yeah, unfortunately your set number 2 spot has been dethroned. You now have the bronze medal. But hey, bronze still good. You can bite it.
And thanks for your biddies as well, Fizalish, you know? So good. Alright, good night, everyone. Rest well, eat your vegetables, and make sure to read the terms of service before clicking agree, because you might be agreeing to sell your soul to Satan or something. Good night!